Yes! Yes, 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 yes! That was a goal! Goal! Striker! Eat that! And another! Bing bang, stick it in. Thank you and good night.
Twat! That was liquid football!
Shit! Did you see that? He must have a foot like a traction engine. Goal!
Hello everybody, it's your old friends and Monday Madness and welcome to another episode of the Liquid Football Podcast. I'm being joined today by Dave and Aaron as we discuss anything Premier League related at the moment. We're going to focus on the battles at the top of the table for this episode, namely the fight between the two or three, depending on your point of view, between Arsenal, Manchester City, and potentially the dark horse coming around the outside of Aston Villa. And then, of course, the European race then between between Chelsea, Manchester United, and Liverpool, with one of them guaranteed to be losing out on Champions League football. So, what better way to do that than to predict how the league is going to go with 11 games left for all these clubs to get points on. After that, then we have our little halftime game where we try and guess a mystery winning 11. In the second half, we're going to deal with more heavier topics as we are going to talk about the drawing of Israel against Ireland, the Nations League coming up in October, and all the various consequences and inconveniences of that between the moral, the sporting, and the economic factors in between. And then to wrap up the podcast, then we're going to be talking about our hand of cods. What has been annoying us over the last couple of weeks in the world of football? Rest assured, there have been a lot. We are spoiled for choice on that one. So hopefully you enjoy this episode of the Liquid Football Podcast.
Goal!
Right, people, this is the exciting bit of the Premier League season, isn't it? The transfer windows are all closed. We all have just nothing but more and more football, club commitments, cup commitments, European commitments in between. But all the while, the Premier League is still up for grabs, I think it's fair to say. It is very much now just a two-horse race between Arsenal and Man City. You got Arsenal, who are probably best squad depth-wise in the league, but are stuttering a little bit, looking brilliant one week and then maybe kind of getting stuck another week. And you have Man City, who are kind of like almost flaws and all, trying to power through their matches, almost like perhaps giving Pep Guardiola's one more send-off. Who knows? That's perhaps a discussion for another podcast. But we'll start off there because we're going to do a little bit of a rundown of the Premier League table. We're going to break it into kind of sections. Starting off with the title race first, then we're going to talk about Europe, and then we're going to talk about the relegation battle. Because there is no mid-table this season. There is just doom or glory.
Or gloom.
Yeah,
doom or glory, pretty much.
The mid-table is just no man's land.
It's just
There's
a
nothing-
stramash of mediocrity, really.
That's the thing. It's actually hard to figure out if it is mediocrity or just everyone is just as good as each other. Like, is it
Yeah,
just
I think that is the case.
Yeah.
Like everyone's on the same level in the mid-table because you look at the budgets and you look at the squads and you look at everything else, and they're all around the same. I mean,
Yeah.
I give credit where it's due. Sunderland have only just come up, so credit where it's due to Sunderland. They are in a great position given teams who just come up sometimes can falter and end up just above relegation.
Yeah.
Don't write Aston Villa out of title race just yet. Okay.
Yeah.
I think they're a bit of a sleeper team because if they win tonight, they go within 2 points of City, right? Now, obviously, City have a game in hand. I get that. But they're not so far behind that you'd write them off. And to be honest, they've probably been one of the most consistent teams in the league this year. Now, they may fall off and they may end up in sixth or whatever, at the end of the season. But I think they're very, very underrated this year. I don't think people have paid attention much to them. And they're sitting in third place.
No,
for fuck's sake.
I would disagree with that. People have been very much paying attention to them.
Are they getting as much coverage? I mean, come on.
No, they are.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
I think what
100%
happened with
are.
Villa was that like they were. I would agree with Dave's point. If we had started this podcast in December, and you would kind of come out and said that, I would agree with you because everyone then is trying to look at the table looking for where Villa is and says, oh shit, they're second, and in that respect. And then I think the moment people started paying attention to Villa, they had that match against Arsenal and they lost it it badly. And then it was a case of like, I think there's kind of this perception then it's like, okay, well they lost against Arsenal, therefore they won't challenge them in the league. That kind of like, it's a bit of a false economy in that sense because obviously you can lose games on the way. But it's hard to say with Villa. I think a lot of it was going to see what happens with the Europa League or a draw for them, was to see how kind of more taxing, what sort of matches would they be facing along the way. Like by all accounts,
Yeah,
Villa could absolutely win the Europa League at a canter. Like they have probably the strongest squad. They are probably the best
yeah,
club in that
easy,
competition, bar
easy.
maybe Porto, perhaps. Um,
It'll make for a
and
good final.
yeah, it would make for
To
a
be
crack.
fair.
I think they're on the same side. Same. I think they might be on the same side of the brackets. I'll
Nah,
have to check on that.
fair enough.
But yeah, even then, like if they're not, then that is a phenomenal final either way. I know Villa and Forest on the same side of the bracket, so they
Yeah,
have to face off in a semi-final if so. But yeah, listen, we'll know what we do for the crack then. Seeing that you wanted to include Villa in the conversation, let's presume that they are a contender, and I have ourselves a little calculator for the
okay.
last 10 games of the season. So what I'm going to do is we're all going to pick a team, and we're going to pick the
Yeah.
scores of their last 10 games and see who pops out as the champion and see if we agree with it or not. So, Dave, would you like to take Manchester City? Or would you like to
I'll
take
take Villa.
Villa? You want to
I'll
take
take
Villa?
Villa. I'll
Okay.
take Villa. Oh yeah, I'll
Then I'll
take
take
Villa.
Man City, and then Aaron, do you want to take the Arsenal? Seeing that I
Yeah,
think
just
you would
for
probably,
the
I think you'd rather
benefit of
die than
Neil.
take Man City, to be
For the
honest.
benefit of
Let's
Neil alone, let's take Arsenal for Aaron. Yep.
let's see how I can make their last 10 games funny and how they
Let's
talk.
see. Yeah, right. So we're gonna make this very, very quick for us. So this match day we have 28. So Wolverhampton versus Villa, which is happening right now as we speak. So we're just gonna keep it quick fire with the scores.
Yeah, we're in 0-0 at the moment. I'm gonna go with 2-0 Villa before full time.
2-0 Villa. I will go with the same score between themselves and Leeds. And then Aaron, for yourself, Arsenal v Chelsea.
Um,
Oh,
See, Chelsea are very capable of managing to do something
Yes.
somehow, right?
some way.
Okay. I think Arsenal will win, but I think it'll be very fun.
What
I don't
scorelines?
seem like
We're gonna go with scorelines here.
I'm gonna go with like a 2-1.
2-1 to
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Right. Okay. Next up, then we have Villa versus Chelsea. Dave,
Chelsea 1-0.
interesting. Brighton versus Arsenal. We're just gonna keep it the scores.
1-0.
1-1. Man City Notts Forest. I'm gonna go with 3-1 Man City on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Next up then is Arsenal Everton.
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. Next up is Man United versus Villa.
Villa 2-1.
2-1. Okay. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 away win for Man City against West Ham. Next up, then we have Arsenal have already played in this match day, which is against Wolves, which is the 2-2 draw. So Man City versus Palace.
Ooh. Man City versus Palace. That's you, Jonathan, right?
It is. I'm gonna go with
I love what you said that way for a response. It's like, oh,
yeah.
shit, that's me.
Got to get me there for a second.
I thought, like, surely that's not worthy of an immense suspense.
Well,
Like,
come
it's
on,
only
answer,
fucking
people,
Palace.
answer. Villa versus West Ham.
Villa versus West Ham.
Yeah.
Villa to win, but I'm gonna go 3-2 on that one because I have a feeling West Ham are goal happy at the minute.
Yeah.
Villa
That's
have
fair.
goals in them, but I have a feeling it's a case of two defenses faltering a little bit. I think it'll be 3-2 Villa.
Fair. Okay. Next up, then we're going to another match day now. So Arsenal v Bournemouth.
Win 3-0.
3-0 to Arsenal. Okay. Chelsea Man City.
Oh,
Gonna go for a draw on that one. 1-1.
that's not a bad shout
Yeah,
because Chelsea are very capable of frustrating anyone in this league at the moment.
indeed. Forest v Villa.
Home or away?
Away.
1-1.
1-1. Okay. Next up, then we have is Villa Sunderland.
Villa. 2-0.
2-0. Okay, fun one. Man City versus Arsenal.
3-0 City.
Cards on the table. I think it's gonna be a 0-0 draw.
I think City are going to win. I think it's going to be 1-0. If it was the other way around coming into this part of the season, I might give Arsenal the win. But it's away at the Etihad. It's the exact same point they were in 2 seasons ago.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'll allow your 1-0 win from my team. Sounds good to me.
Neil
Arsenal-
be damned.
Arsenal v Newcastle.
That's Arsenal all over.
Yeah, it's Arsenal.
Okay, what we got scoreline wise?
Just to annoy KC 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna go two red cards, 2 send-offs on Newcastle, 5-0.
And a partridge in
Thanks,
pear tree.
KC. Love you.
Burnley, Man City. I'm gonna go with 2-0 on that one. I think.
Ben.
His turf more.
Gonna go for Ben.
Yeah. So Fulham Villa next.
Oh, I'm gonna go Villa 1-0.
Villa 1-0. Okay. And next up then is next match day we have is Arsenal Fulham
Arsenal win 1-0.
1-0. Okay. Villa Spurs.
Villa all the fucking way. Spurs are just getting relegated.
Well, that is a conversation we're going to have in a few minutes. So, so what do you think? So,
Stay with us, folks.
yeah. So, score wise,
3-0 Villa. I think Tottenham are going to capitulate. I genuinely do think they're just going to get absolutely decimated.
okay, okay. Everton Man City. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win against Man City for Man City.
That
On that
sounds
one, I
about
think.
right. That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
And next up then we have is Burnley Villa in the next match day.
I'm going to go for a draw 1-1 on that one.
1-1. Okay.
Yeah, I have a feeling Burnley could be frustrating a tough more for Villa.
Yeah. Man City Brentford. I think Brentford's race is probably going to be run at this point. So
Best
I
run.
think
Yeah,
I'll
it's
go
done.
with a 2-1 win for Man City on that one. West Ham
That's right.
Arsenal to wrap up the match day.
Oh, there we go. Arsenal. I think they'll end up beating West Ham. But it'll be like 1-0 or 2-1.
Let's go with 2-1 then on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And next up then we're on this penultimate match day now. So Villa Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Okay.
This is where Villa slide. I think Liverpool will have a bit of a late resurgence. I think Liverpool won't make it too far in the Champions League, if I'm being honest. But I think that'll benefit late on in the season where we push for fourth, potentially knock United out. And I think that'll be the game where Villa kind of either make or break whether they want to stay in the title race. It's the second last game, so if they've gone this far, I'd say they'd be more. If they're in Europa League contention, I think they'll let a league slip.
Sure.
I think
they
they'd
get
be
the
happy
trophy,
with
yeah,
third. I think they'd be happy with third in the Premier League if they can then get a European trophy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's where Liverpool will just take advantage of that. I think that rotation.
Okay. So scoreline wise, what would you reckon on that then?
I'd say 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. Okay, I'm gonna go. So Man City go traveling to Bournemouth on the penultimate game. That's a tricky one, to be perfectly honest with you. I think I'm gonna go with a draw on that one, to be honest. So I think
I was going to say they
yeah.
could slip to a draw.
They
Not
could,
gonna
yeah.
lie.
Absolutely. We'll come back to Aaron then when he is returned, and
Yep.
we will go to
No,
the
I can
final
do it
match.
now.
Oh, you're back? Oh, just perfect time.
I'm back. I timed that very well.
You did. Now you're gonna have to give me your hot assessment of Arsenal versus Burnley on the penultimate match day.
If this comes down to this, right? If it's the last home game of the season
Yes.
and they need a win, they're gonna fucking bottle it and they're gonna lose.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yep.
At the same time, if City have overtaken them, because I don't know what way the table's walking out at this point, and obviously you have it. If City have overtaken them, somehow Arsenal would find the fucking form that they had at the start of the season and fucking hockey them about 5-0. So I can go either fucking way.
Right, but let's say for argument's sake, let's go with let's cut in the middle and go with a 3-0 win for Arsenal, right? Let's see how that goes in there. And then final match day then, Palace versus Arsenal to start off.
I think Arsenal probably end up winning. Again, that has two different types of situations in it, like the last game.
Yeah.
If they've already won the league, it'd be very funny if they lost. Which
Yes.
I feel like happens the odd time when a team wins the league and then they end up losing the fucking next game.
Sure.
But if they somehow manage to already have lost the league, they'll probably beat them like 1 or 2-0 and go, well, it wasn't that bad.
Well, let's go to 1-0 win to Arsenal in that respect.
We get our second place participation medal.
Exactly. Man City versus Villa. Now that could be, again, that match could end up being for the league, going by the permutations. So that's
Oh,
a tricky one.
jeez.
Yeah.
Right, that's an interesting tie for the last game of the fucking season, isn't it?
Now I would say realistically, I think City would beat Villa in this kind of context. I think that would be like, as going by the previous conversation, like I think
Yeah, I
Villa would
think.
probably be Europe
Yeah, I
bound.
think Pitts would. Yeah, I think Villa would be like Villa would favor the European tie there. I
Yes.
think Villa will finish third, but like I think they'll make the race very interesting.
Okay. So scoreline wise, what do you think we'll negotiate to? Maybe 2-1?
2-0
2-0?
City over Villa.
Okay. All right then. So that's the end of the season. But there's another race
Yay.
on, lads, at the same time. And it's a race for the Champions League. Because we've not only got Villa at play here, we've got United, we've got Chelsea, and we've got Liverpool to play for as well. So we're going to fucking roll it back and fill in the fixtures for all the Champions League hunting teams as well. Because one of these teams is going to miss out on the Champions League. And it could very well be Liverpool, could be Chelsea, could be United, could be Villa. We have to wait and see how the fixtures.
I'll take United. I'll take United.
Well, no, we're
No,
going to have
I'm
Aaron
going to
take.
take fucking United.
Aaron's
No,
going to
you're
take
not.
United.
Mm-mm.
Dave,
Oh,
you'll take
no.
Liverpool. Dave, you'll take
Right,
Liverpool.
okay, fine.
You'll take
Aaron's
Liverpool,
just
and
gonna
I'll
be
take
stupid,
Chelsea.
be like, we'll win, we'll beat that, we'll win that, we'll finish fucking third, blah, blah, blah. That's what's gonna happen here.
Well, let's see. Let's see. This is where our objective. So, good luck with that. So Dave, you start off with Liverpool versus West Ham, which is happening tomorrow or today, if you're listening back to this.
It'll be typical Liverpool 2-1 scrape a win.
2-1 scrape a win. United versus Palace, Aaron.
6-0.
Fucking 6-0 there now, yeah. Fucking, we'll go
Wrong.
in and
Try
we'll score
again.
like 3 goals first half, throw on the young kids, and then we'll just see the match out, you know.
I think we won't lose. I think we'll probably draw against them. No, I think we'll beat them, but it won't be like 6-0. It'll be like 2-0 or 2-1 or something like that. Because Palace aren't doing great at the moment. We're on a nice run of form. We haven't lost in 6. So
But
you see,
man, you have won 5 in a row either.
That's true.
And poor boys never caught this hair.
No. And we've already decided that Chelsea are losing this weekend against Arsenal. So we move on then to the next one. Wolves versus Liverpool. Dave.
Liverpool 4-0.
Liverpool 4-0. And that's away from home. And I think then on the same is it that I think it's the same week then they've played them in the FA Cup. That's wonderful fixtures.
Lovely.
We've already established Chelsea will beat their Aston Villa. So next up then is Newcastle versus United. That's tasty.
I think that'll be Carrick's first loss.
Okay.
I think he might lose like 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Do you know what? That's actually understandable. I can see that happening. Because Newcastle, as we established, fucking weird team this season. Very
they are.
Very
They're a very weird team.
Yeah.
By the way, Shells have equalised the Pats are 3-0 up now.
Yeah, it's all good. Next up then is Chelsea Newcastle. I'm not sure about this one, to be perfectly honest. I see this one as a score draw. I'm going to go with 2-2. Liverpool Spurs, Dave.
Liverpool all the way, 2-0.
2-0, okay. And we've established that Villa will beat United. So we can move on then to the next fixture, which is Bournemouth United.
I think we'll win 2-0.
2-0 against Bournemouth. Okay. Brighton versus Liverpool.
Away from home?
Away from home.
Brighton will win that one. 2-1.
Narrow win? Good win? What do you think?
Narrow win. 2-1.
2-1.
Liverpool concede late.
Yeah. Okay. In the same convention, I can see Everton taking points away from Chelsea. I'm going to keep that as a draw, 1-1.
Si, senor.
Indeed. Next up then is our next match day. So we've already had Chelsea City, which is a draw, and we've had Forest Villa, which is a draw. So next up is Liverpool Fulham.
I'm going to go with Liverpool 1-0 at Anfield, obviously. So
yeah. Man United versus Leeds.
I love that.
I think that's going to be one of those fucking mental games. Because if we're pushing, right, Leeds are probably going to be safe at this point, I think. Right? I think they're probably going to be fine. So they have nothing to play for.
Yeah.
So it'll be at home, and United will be pushing for the Champions League properly. We're only 2 games away from the end of it. I see that being something mad, like fucking 4-3 or 5-4. Something fucking insane like that. Like we did a couple of seasons ago, McTominay scored a fucking hat-trick or something. It was like 6-3.
Yeah.
camera is moving closer and closer to Dave's head, and it's terrifying.
It picks up on his omega waves emanating from his egg head. We'll go with 4-3 on that one then.
Yeah, go 4-3 on that one. That'd be fun,
right.
alright, to be honest.
Right. This is a proper tricky one. Merseyside derby on match day 33. What do you think, Dave?
Draw.
Score draw?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. And in the same vein, Chelsea United.
Fucking 0-0 written all over.
It does have a little written all over, because wasn't the last 8 of the last fucking 10 games or something? It's been like a fucking boring ass draw. Probably the same. Like 1-1 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'll match you a 1-1 because I was gonna go a draw myself anyway. Next up then, next match day is Brighton versus Chelsea. I see Chelsea winning that one well. I'm gonna go 3-1 away win. Next up then is Liverpool v Palace.
Oh, we love that fixture, don't we, Jonathan?
Oh, let's not talk about it. Don't mention the war, Dave. Don't mention the war.
Fuck Dwight Gale. Yeah, I'm going to go with Liverpool here, and I'm gonna go with 2-0.
2-0 against Palace.
Yeah.
United versus Keith Andrews' Brentford.
Oh, Keith Andrews all the way up the Andrews.
If it comes down to a home crowd last day of the season, it's a United win, and it's gonna be like fucking 3-0 as well.
Well, we're not
Fergie's gonna cry. Fergie's gonna cry, and they're gonna bring out all the trophies that United won, place them in the middle of the circle. The whole place is gonna be a carnival, and then they're gonna announce the next day that they're 2.5 billion in debt and they're gonna be liquidated.
The end.
That's the end. That is my ultimate final day.
Yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, that isn't the final day, because I know we have Brentford the final day. So I'm going to take a 3-0 win to Brentford.
Oh, no. Oh, fuck. I had all the fixtures in front of me. It's not the final day. You're fucking spot on there. Yeah. I was still on fucking April. So I'm still going to stick with the 3-0.
You're going to stick with the 3-0 anyway. Okay.
I'm still going to stick with the 3-0.
I'm going to defer my bankruptcy till the final day.
Yeah. Just push that out for a few more weeks.
It just hits better when it's like the day after the last.
Yeah, when it's the day after.
We don't exist anymore. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Chelsea Notts Forest. That's a bit of a banana peel, but I think Chelsea will win that game 1-0. Although with that Forest team could be a bit more open, but I'm gonna go with a win anyway for Chelsea. Next tasty affair is United versus Liverpool. What do we think, team?
1-0 United.
I do. This is this is a very weird Liverpool team. I've no idea what state they're going to be in, like level wise, the Champions League. This could be the match that United could sucker punch them, because they've done that already this season. It's impossible to know, but what will we agree on? What can we compromise on?
Do you know, on that game, right? I can see that game going one of two ways, right? Either it's an up and down, back and forth game, and the goalkeeper's in top fucking form the entire game, right? Nothing gets past them in the defense or something, and it's just a dirty fucking goal gets either team to win, or it's boring as shit. Nothing's happening. We're all going to sleep. He brings Shesko on and he scores a fucking goal.
You know what? I'm going to go with Aaron's prediction there. I'm actually going to go with a 1-0 United win, but it is going to be very, very, very late.
Yeah.
It'll be a shit game till like the 95th minute.
I agree with you, because I think, again, like Liverpool's path into Europe could be settled at that point, but we just don't know. It's impossible to say. Next up then, so we're on match day 36. Sunderland, Man United. Next up.
United win 2-0.
Away the lads.
Away the lads. I think Sunderland season will probably be done at that stage, to be fair. Liverpool, Chelsea. Now, that's a tricky one, to be perfectly honest.
That's a very fun one.
At Anfield, I'm going Liverpool 2-0 at Anfield. If it was at Stamford Bridge, I'd say Liverpool get trounced. If it's at Anfield, I think we'll beat Chelsea.
Again, it's Chelsea team is a bit of an anonymous one for me, but I will negotiate or go breaking the clean sheet. So we'll go with 2-1 Liverpool on that, because again, it's that kind of one where there's something about the Chelsea team, but there's definitely defensive frailties there. So we'll see. Next up then is the penultimate match day. Now we've got Chelsea Spurs 3-2 to Chelsea on that. I think that's going to be a frantic game. United Forest next.
Again, it all depends on where Forest are at that point. Like, because if they're safe, United might win 1 or 2 by 1 or 2. If they're not, it's We're very capable of losing.
Yeah,
Forest has not been
possibly,
a
yeah.
fucking great game for us in the last couple of years.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with a draw, like 1-1 and 0-0.
1-1. Okay. Okay, we're now into our final. We already have Villa down to lose Liverpool 3-1 that match day. So with that, then we are on a final match day. Sunderland versus Chelsea. Oh. Hmm. I think Chelsea are going to eke out a win there because I think Sunderland's season will be done at that point, and I think Chelsea will have something to play for. So I think they'll eke out a 1-0 win. Brighton versus United.
We'll lose 1-0.
You lose 1-0. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
fully expect us to lose that one away. Fully expect us to lose that one away.
And then lastly, then Liverpool Brentford.
Was this last day of the season?
It's the last day of the season.
Yeah, it'll be a 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. Okay, right. So factoring in, we're obviously not going to do the rest of the match day fixtures because we'll be here all fucking night. But drum roll, please. Here is how the league is going to shape out. So, according to our match day table from our predictors,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be in ascending order. Sixth place is going to be Chelsea on 64.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool are going to be fifth on 68. United are going to be on 68 as well.
Well,
They're
I
going
had
to
a
have
goal
the
difference.
exact same goal difference. What's going to separate them is goals scored for Man United. That will
Wow.
get them into fourth place. Now, fifth place
Such a
should be a
United
Champions League
thing to
spot as
do
well.
as well. Like,
Yeah,
fuck you, we scored more goals than you did.
yeah, exactly. XG wankers. But
Worst stat
no,
ever invented in football fucking statistics. I
yeah.
fucking hate it.
In fairness, this is gonna be like fifth is gonna be a Champions League spot anyway because of how well English teams have done in Europe anyway. So that's a fait accompli. So unfortunately, Chelsea going by our scores here, just the sheer amount of draws is what's gonna do them in. Unfortunately, Villa will finish on 71 as things stand. They'll be in third place. Manchester City are gonna be second
Ooh!
on 85 points, and Arsenal are going to be first on 86. There is literally going to be a point in the difference.
I'm heading to Paddy Powers tomorrow, lads. I'm putting that fucking bet on.
Well, let's see. So that's a fair argument's sake. I would be reasonably happy with that league table. Like I do, like let's talk about the front runners first, at Arsenal and Man City, right? So I can I think Arsenal will just about have enough of an advantage on Manchester City. But weirdly enough, and it's probably because our halftime game is about the Carabao Cup final, but I think that cup final is going to have a really kind of narrative spin to it because if Arsenal win that cup, then they have like a psychological advantage. But if City win it, then
Yeah.
that means you're going to start the headlines over and over again. I'd also like let's not rule out Arsenal for the Champions League here as well, because if we just got the Champions League draw today as at time of recording, and Arsenal are by far and away on the easier path to the final. Like I think
No, they're
realistically they
not.
probably will get to the final,
No, they
because
don't.
yeah.
No, they don't.
Why do you think they're gonna get like slipped out to Bodo Glimt or something?
Yes. It would be a very Arsenal way of getting knocked out of the Champions League to fucking Bodo Glimt. Like, let's be real here. Funniest possible outcome. Like, them getting knocked out if they're on the other side is not half as fun if it's against like fucking Madrid or Barcelona or something like
Yeah,
that.
you can make it. You
But
make
if it's
you can
against
make an excuse for it in a sense. Yeah, yeah, I get what
Yeah,
you're saying. Yeah,
but it'll be pure Arsenal to get knocked out by Bodo Glimt and for Glimt to go as far as the semi-finals. That would be fucking great and very funny. Because most of my things in my head are, this is very funny. But at the same time, you're probably fucking right. They're at least making the final.
I was about to say, I just want to make my position clear here. I'm going for the funny answer here. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, like realistically, I do think Arsenal will have enough, but it's just going to be so fucking tense for the rest of the season. Like, what do you guys think? Do you like based off
Look,
our
we
putting
can
scores there?
we
do you think they're
can
gonna
we,
win it?
we can predict all the scores, we can predict all the points, but the one thing we can never account for is injury, right?
Mm.
Say Haaland gets injured in the next 1 or 2 games, he's out for the rest of the season. Are City going to go on a firing spree, and are they actually going to score as many goals? Probably not. Same with Arsenal. If they get 1 or 2 injuries up front, they're screwed. Villa can jump on that and say, well, we can fucking score goals, and they'd end up top of the fucking table.
Yeah.
Injuries is one thing we cannot account for, and I think looking at it, we can say all of the results and the points and all this all we want, but all it takes is for one. Like we saw what happened when Rodri left City when he was
Mm.
injured. One little link in that chain is broken sometimes, and it can just derail you altogether.
Yeah, it's a
So
curious one, isn't it? Like it's like I think even since Rodri's been back, he's nowhere near as good a player as
no,
he was.
no,
Like
he was out
his
for
He's
what, a
not.
year?
No, he was over nearly a year. Yeah, and he's been very slow since he came back. There's
Yeah,
something not right there anymore.
it's like won the
yeah.
Ballon d'Or and then went on holiday almost.
Again, it
You know,
wasn't it?
well, he didn't.
Well,
He was
I
injured, but
mean,
still.
at that point, he kind of just completed football.
Mm,
He's now
Yeah,
done
yeah.
everything. So why if I was him, I wouldn't try anymore.
Just do a
Right, well,
Philip
I've
Lam.
done it now.
yeah,
Yeah,
completely a mate. Yeah, exactly.
Philip Lam was like, done it.
Yeah,
Retired 29.
but but
He's
that's
just like, I'm done.
that's the other aspect of it as well. Is that like City are just like City are not just a Haaland and Friends team. But like you certainly accuse that of them at the
No,
start of the season.
Cherky's been
Yeah,
pretty lethal for them.
he's
Like
kind
he's
of picked
been
up the
really, really
mantle that
good.
Mahrez kind of left because like we really never
Yeah,
replaced Mahrez in that team. In terms of like a wide kind of playmaker, like something that kind of
yeah.
like
Jury's
like
still out on
David Silva.
Savino as well, or
I think
Savio,
Mourinho's done
Savino, whatever you want
phenomenal
to call
since
him.
he's came in. Like I think like there's been a lot of
he's
forward
he's
players that come to City and they sink immediately, and he's kind of hit the ground
he's
running
he's
today, and
going
that's
in the
what he's
summer
there
though.
for to do. You know?
Yeah, but he's gone in the
Yeah.
summer.
He's kind of like Julian Alvarez, who was actually doing well at City, and then
Yeah,
now is lighting it up at Atletico. I think Darren's right. I think Savio or Savino, whatever you want to call him, will definitely look at Spain in the summer. I think if
yeah,
he goes to Barcelona, for example, I think he's in there. If he replaces
mhm,
Lewandowski at Barcelona,
yeah.
if he replaces someone at Madrid, I
I'm
don't think he
sorry.
will. What?
Who do you think Barcelona are going to try and sign? Just repeat that there again, because my thing
No, I
keeps
said
breaking
if
up.
Lewandowski leaves or retires in the summer, given his age, I
Yeah.
think Savino, if they bring him in,
Oh
he could
no, they can't
probably be.
afford him. They can't even. I'm sorry, they can't even afford a Rashford.
Yeah.
There's talks of them going around just saying they're going to buy him just so they can sell him again.
It,
They
it,
can't
it,
afford. They can't afford a fucking pot to piss in right now.
Yeah, but
again,
You know what Spanish football is like. They'll find money somewhere.
yeah, that's the very frustrating thing about Barcelona is that you hear about how like they're in financially the dire strait, and then they still sign players for 40 million, but it's like 40 million like on an IOU posted to like the back of the jersey or something like that. It's strange stuff here, but yeah. So we think like, would we be satisfied, shall we say, if Arsenal were to win it by 1 point? Does that seem reasonable for this Arsenal team? Because I think my kind of reading of it is I think the only real kind of obstacle in Arsenal's way is themselves to a certain degree,
It
and it's
is, and always,
yeah,
and in the last couple of years, it kind of has been.
yeah,
It's themselves. And when United beat them a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't too far out of the thing to go, this is it now. This is
mm,
where they capitulate because they don't have any winners in their squad.
yeah,
They don't have any fucking champions in their squad. For all the United's faults in the last couple, like, put it this way, if they were going for this and they had Casemiro in their team,
mm,
it would be a completely different mindset in that team because he would go, I fucking done it, lads. Just fucking they'll listen to him.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they don't have that in their team. They have Premier League winners, but it's fucking Gabriel Jesus and fucking
Squad
what's
players
his name?
for the
Injury,
squad.
Yeah,
injury prone, like donkeys,
yeah.
basically. Like
And
Jesus will come in,
Jesus,
score 3 goals, and they be injured again for 6 months or something like that.
yeah, and the thing is, Jesus still wasn't exactly the key point in their title winning
No,
seasons.
not at all.
So that's the thing that'll always hold them back.
Mm,
But if they do win the league this season, which again, I do hope they do, mainly for my brother Cash to see them win something for the first time since they turned 18. Something of real significance.
Well, you haven't seen United win anything since when?
I've watched them win. I've watched them win more in the last couple of years than I have seen Arsenal win more in the last couple of years. Um, so come on now. But it'll get the monkey off their back. But
mm.
they're very capable of also completely bottling this whole fucking thing and finishing second. And Arteta getting the sack and then sitting there in the summer going, right, we just put $1 billion into the squad and we literally have nothing to show for it. We've got a stable team.
Yep.
We've got good players, but a stable team and good players will get you so far because Odegaard's already there's an idea he might leave in the summer.
Depends on how his World Cup goes.
I think it depends. If he ends up having a fucking brilliant World Cup, Madrid might just go take
Because
him.
realistically, I am putting money on Norway to win the World Cup, and I'm putting money on Norway to win the World Cup because I've looked at their qualifying campaign. Right now, I know we don't judge it on qualifying campaigns.
Yeah.
But just look how many goals they've scored and how they've done in those matches. I'm putting money on them
there is a
to win it.
massive correlation though between teams that do well in qualifying and they don't do well in the World Cup. Like it's
Well, yeah, we all know England
very
are
much
like
apples
that.
and oranges
We
quality.
all know like
yeah,
England will England always get a good easy qualifier
exactly.
anyway.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's down to historical seeding and stuff. Like it's like this is one of the exceptions to the rule where like Norway basically kind of, I wouldn't say they lucked out with the group that he had, but they're up against a generationally terrible Italy side, and the third like seed in their group is Israel. So they were bound to fucking trounce them as well. So you know it is there was a certain look quality look to it as well. But what I would say is like obviously Man City, I think the other kind of narrative there is that this is seemingly Pep's last season at City, and
It does seem
by
like
all accounts, like he's on the wind down, considering how vocal he has been about stuff outside of football.
And they have
Which is
Maresca
great to
coming
see.
in to replace him.
But it's also like there's clearly an instance there of him of wanting to kind of go out in a high, but in a way that's not how this kind of works, is it? It's like it's normally like long live the king type of stuff. Like you normally get dethroned by the next master. And unfortunately, Klopp has not continued on to see this moment of like, what would it be like to not have one high arm tied behind your back financially, or better yet, now to have this almost potentially like open season in terms of the Premier Leagues. Like, a Guardiola free City kind of opens the door for everyone to have a go, because this is the
it
question now is like,
does.
would they be
Yeah,
like, is Arsenal the next dynasty now to have to try and take down, or is there kind of vulnerabilities there? I think because we're so, maybe this is me speaking here, I think we're just so used to having a City team that's bulletproof
Yeah.
for a generation
I think
that
we'll have a few years, sorry, John. I think we'll have a few years of like different winners each season until one of the teams gets like a rhythm going. I don't
I
think
hope
it'll
we
ever be
do.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Personally speaking, I don't think it'll ever be Arsenal. I think they might win one, like Liverpool. They will win every here and there.
yeah.
But I know this is mad to say, but I think if Chelsea can get the run and the grip together and
they.
find that team.
Mm. Chelsea are
I
going to be
don't.
such an agonizingly frustrating team for me to look at, because there is a good team there. There's a
Yeah,
phenomenal
yeah, and if
team
they can
there.
find it,
No, it's
there's a
there.
chance
I
they
think
could
it's there.
be.
It's like
Yeah,
they
but
have all
if
the
they
young
can
players
utilize it,
there. Yeah,
and yeah, I
it's
think they
literally
could
just
be
stop
the
selling them.
next
They just have to stop
dynasty.
selling players. Just have some continuity in your team, and you will probably win league titles. You win cups. Like
Yeah.
look what Maresca did with the 1 year he had. He made them world champions. Like whether you
Yep.
disagree with the competition or not, I personally do, but it's undeniable. They gave PSG a hiding and a half in that final. It was one of the best individual performances I've ever seen in a player in Cole Palmer. He was
Yep. So
unbelievable.
it's there.
It is
It's
there.
there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. 100%. Um, but on that point though, obviously we have them, if we're switching now to the European race, we have them in sixth at the moment. And I think that is a little bit unfair on Chelsea, but I think ultimately someone is going to lose out in that race.
Yeah.
And I really don't think it's going to be Villa because of the kind of the point swing in between. You'd have to take something
Hmm.
calamitous for them to lose
Yeah.
Champions League football at this point. But it is possible. But at the same time, you could say that about most teams. United being in fourth place, that you are presumably very happy with that, Aaron, considering that like perhaps you're taking advantage of
Well,
not having European
like,
football commitments.
well, no, I said it. I said last season after when I had a mental breakdown after when we lost against Spurs and I had a
Mm,
cry in the kitchen, oh, two inches that way. That's the reason why I was like, this is like the perfect season for Amarim to just like take off now.
Yeah.
And
mm,
although it wasn't great, and I know Carrick has done a great job since he came in and stuff like that, because he's playing a system that works with the players that are there more than a long term thing. He's just like there for the short term. It was. I always thought this would be perfect because he'll probably get fourth or fifth. I always
mm.
thought we would get European Cup. After a while, I was like, we'll definitely get European Cup football. Where that was going to be could have been anywhere from fourth to fucking eighth. It
Yeah,
really
exactly.
could have
Yeah,
been
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
anything. Do you know what I mean? So I knew it was going to be something. But after Amarim got sacked, I was like, yeah, I'll take fourth. There was that
Mm.
2 week period where we're winning the league, obviously, but that died, and that's fine because I wasn't actually being serious about it. But it could have happened. It could have happened. But I'd be happy with it to go back into the Champions League, and I think would help get a better manager. My dream appointment is for young managers is Luis Enrique. I don't think he'll go, but he's my dream appointment. And my second dream appointment, which has always been my dream appointment for United ever since Ferguson left, has been Carlo Ancelotti.
Mm.
And I think if he goes to the World Cup and he manages to pull out a fucking World Cup win for the Brazilians, if he doesn't completely retire straight away, I think he might actually take on that job, because he'd be like, oh fuck, if I could do something with United as one of my last crowning achievements, I think he probably would. Like,
Yeah, I think that's the curious thing about United in the sense of like I think what like perhaps one of the kind of smaller narratives of the season is that this kind of conversation about like systems managers and man managers, and I think this has perhaps been the year where like you've seen a real divide in like if we say the real tactical like zealots, let's say, of like people you have to play this way, you have to do this A, B, C, and D, and follow my way and do as you're told type of thing. And then you have the managers who are kind of coming in and being very vibes based and like essentially like the common parlance now is like vibes based, but ultimately it's man management. It's getting the best of the players you have. And ultimately what Michael Carrick has done is basically just be the Manchester United manager.
He's steadied the ship. That's what he's done.
But that's what he's really done.
Done
Is
his
like
job.
what he's done is he's actually brought in just really good coaches underneath him, and it's the coaches that are doing the training. And like he's just being an actual manager and being the statesman and being the little lightning rod for all the questions. And again, Michael Carrick, to his credit, is an incredibly beige human being. Like he's kind of got that kind of Garrett Southgate quality to him, where like
that's
he's
who I want to see
principled.
in charge of
Yeah.
United next season. Yes,
But yeah,
please.
I kind of argue they kind of have it already in Michael Carrick. It's like the exact same kind of personality. Like what they've done is basically just get like a prism to be the kind of the manager of the club, because all the questions will go through and just scatter the other way. You know what I mean? Like it's just like whatever the
I don't
answer
think
is going to be, they're not going to be good enough for a headline. You know?
I don't think Ancelotti would touch United with a fucking barge pole.
I'm sorry, if they said to him, 2 years, and this is the plan we have, and we just need someone to set an old head to settle the fucking ship, I'm telling you right now, he would fucking take it.
No, he wouldn't.
Because if any manager was given the job at United, because there's one thing about the Man United job at the moment, right? And I think it was the same thing with the Liverpool job in the mid-2000s, leading up to the 2010s when Klopp took over. Imagine being the lad who wins it again. Imagine being that manager who finally does it for United again. Much like Klopp.
With no money, with the debt building up. You have to look at it from a business point of view as well, because that's
the only issue we have at the moment is that we're not a selling club. The debt is not that bad because we're still making a profit. And with Champions League football next season
works. Once you're making money, once it's cash flow, you're not going to fall foul.
We made
the
a
money stops coming in. That's the problem.
Yeah, we made a €30 million profit, and if we make Champions League football next season, that's another, at least for us, I think it'll be another 50-60 million.
It's usually 50-60 in the pocket for most clubs, yeah. And
then you have the winnings from the Premier League from just making the Champions League in their position, and €100 million there to play around with next season. And that's before you sell.
That's if you get it.
That's if we get it. So that's what I'm saying. If we do end up getting it, I could absolutely see Ancelotti looking at that team going, I could probably do a fucking job there.
It's a tricky one.
I'm just unsure. I just think he's too smart to just go at it and look at it and go, I could do something there. Sure, he could, but you look at it as a short-term appointment because you just don't know.
But I wouldn't mind that being a short-term appointment, because at the moment there is no long-term managers out there to take over a role like United, right? Your last one was Amorim, he's gone. Ten Hag was before him, he's not even a manager anymore.
So that's that other aspect of like they're systems managers. You're bringing them in for their tactics as opposed to who they are. Whereas United could go the opposite way and just pick a name and let the name kind of quality
because if it does happen, right, and again as well, who else do you have out there that could take it? I don't want Glasner in there because that's going to blow up.
Luis Enrique would be perfect for United. Why? Because we've seen what he can do with the rookies and the kids at PSG. Went ahead and finally won them a Champions League. I would sooner say Luis Enrique would slot right into that United job as a long-term prospect than Carlo Ancelotti would. I would definitely have Enrique over Carlo Ancelotti. I just think
Enrique's right now, fit. If Slot gets the sack at the end of the season, or if he leaves, if he just says, right, I want to fucking leave where my hands are held high, I'm just going to go. Sure. Probably better off for everyone if I just fucking dip. They're going to be on the market for either Alonso or Enrique.
But Alonso's failed
And
at two
although-
clubs. They wouldn't dare risk it.
That's
I'm not
it.
sure about that. Again, it
And then
depends,
maybe not
depends on the conversation.
maybe not
Yeah.
about risk. It depends. It depends how it goes. So Liverpool are probably going to go for Luis Enrique, and if I'm Luis Enrique and I've got Liverpool and I've got United, and Liverpool have stability, and United are a bit of a basket case, he's probably going to go. Oh,
I take that back.
fucking
I
lift
take
the
that
club."
back. Alonso failed at Madrid, not at Leverkusen.
But that's
Yeah,
the
he
thing,
failed
that's
him.
the thing,
Yeah.
Well, that's the
So that's
Everyone
where-
fails at
well.
everyone fails at
yeah.
Madrid now. Look at the manager in charge now. He's losing to fucking obscure teams that we can't even pronounce.
Well, let's
Yes.
was thing that we mentioned in the conversation there. Like the other quantity in this is Liverpool. So obviously, going by our predicted table here, we have to basically eke it into the Champions League places by the skin of their teeth, really. And it is ultimately down. Again, this is what Liverpool's doom is, in a sense that they either have to murder people on goal difference, or they will ultimately the games are actually going to go down to the games between United and Chelsea. And they're at the timing of those matches are really unfortunate because they are pretty much going to land in between potential FA Cup quarterfinals, I think, or semi-finals maybe, and Champions League quarterfinals. So there is a genuine permutation where Liverpool will face Chelsea 4 times in 2 weeks. Which at that point, just fucking sell it on the zone like a fucking pay-per-view, to be honest. It would be actually better off. It's like a best of 4 series or something like that. But even then, that is just look at the draw sometimes as well.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think from my Liverpool, I think perhaps Dave can jump onto this point as well. I mean, it has been a very bad season for Liverpool. It goes without saying. I think statistically they will be the worst defenders of a league title since Leicester. But there's a certain degree of mitigating circumstances to it. Obviously, a death in the team is not ideal for any level pre-season.
Half the squad is new.
And some of the squad is new. I think there's also it's there's a quantifiable and there's very unquantifiable effect on the team. What's quantifiable is that certain individual players have let the team down. So Salah is not the player he was last season.
No, he'll be gone in summer.
Alexis McAllister, who was the proverbial water carrier in the team, has had a horrendously bad season by his standards, and it is only recently starting to show a little bit of form again.
Yeah,
Cody Gakpo hasn't shown up, unfortunately. He is a substantial downgrade on Luis Diaz, and just realistically is not the player that Liverpool needs.
Frimpong has been tearing his cheese string every 2 minutes.
But the thing is, at least with Frimpong, again, it's the same kind of aspect of if he stays fit, he'd be great. It's the Reece James quality. Reece James is the best right back in England if he is fit. He is a fantastic player. He is world class. Kind of like a sister in that respect. If his sister stays fit, she can be the world best player in the world as well.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. But the same thing is that with Frimpong, I can see where Liverpool are going. It looks like they're recruiting for another right back and they're moving Frimpong into the Salah deputy role, which I think is actually better.
He'd be better there.
So they're looking at Ronald Shalai for the right back role, so another Hungarian team. So basically both fullbacks would be the Hungarian,
and then you have Schlubbers in the mid.
Exactly, yeah. So it seems to be going that way with Liverpool anyway, and Salah seems to be more of a white centre back kind of profile as well.
I can see Szoboszlai definitely next season coming into that leadership role. I really can.
Szoboszlai is the next club captain.
I think
that's already been decided.
100%.
No, he is. That has been decided. Van Dijk has basically he's basically chosen Szoboszlai to take over his captain.
Definitely the right decision in my eyes. Definitely the right decision.
Yeah, he is, and
that guy
has shown
led for this club this season.
Yeah, honestly, without him, I think Liverpool would have actually been substantially worse and probably further down the league table.
I think I said the last time as well that Szoboszlai is after the Ireland game. Fucking rang. He reminded me of Bruno Fernandes. He's he'll fucking die for anyone he plays for. So what do you want as a captain? I know Fernandes has got his detractors because he's a bit of a baby. Fucking Portuguese.
But here's the thing with Bruno. What I will say about, I'm glad you mentioned Bruno in a sense, because I was actually going to sing his praises. Especially since Carrick has taken over, you actually finally get to see how good this guy can actually be when he's played in the right position. I'd actually probably put forward Bruno as perhaps one of the best individual players this season. We're doing a player of the season.
But he would still shake your hand with his right hand and rob your wallet with his left still.
Obviously.
That is the type of throw you under the bus. You know what I mean? He was moaning about players while fucking Amarin was in charge of throwing
realistically,
him
it's
on the bus.
between him and Szoboszlai for any kind of player of the season kind of thing. Because like I don't think any individual player has bailed out a team more than Szoboszlai has for Liverpool. Um,
Agreed.
and I think that, and again, this will always be the kind of argument as well. This is always going to be the conversation point of like, could Slot have done a better job with this Liverpool team this season? And ultimately, it's impossible to know because there's some massive tactical frailties in the team. Some of them are his fault, and some of it are the fault of his sporting directors for recruiting the wrong people or taking kind of liberties with certain players and profiles, thinking they'll get away with it in a sense. Like we'll get away with not signing Mark Wahey this season. That's fine. We'll get him in January, end up not getting him in January at all, and then just some really fucking bad luck as well. Again, not having
Yeah.
a fit right back for the majority of the season. Giovanni Leone, who they probably would have leaned on for squad rotation purposes, snapping his ACL on his debut. Horrendous luck.
Not great. Not great, to be fair.
Suboptimal.
Not what you want.
Suboptimal, yeah. And then obviously you have like individual players letting the team down like McAllister and Salah and Kakpo, unfortunately unable to do anything except for switch, like go inside on his left and take a shot. That is his one and only role to the extent that that is his profile on LinkedIn. That is not even a joke, by the way. That is genuinely his profile on LinkedIn is cutting in. I'm not even joking there. He's not well liked with the Liverpool fan base, to be honest, because he's a landlord. So,
he's a slum landlord as well.
He's a slum landlord as well, exactly. He's not well liked. So if there's anyone following Slot at the door, it'll probably be Gakpo. But in any case, like then and there's other issues at the Liverpool squad as well. Like they made themselves
Like
squad
defense,
depth
like
problems.
Konate,
I think Konate's come back around. In fairness, Konate's had a couple of he was very shaky at the start of the season, but again, I think the problem with Konate is.
And then again, his dad dying isn't fucking ideal.
No, exactly. Like there's been a lot of things happening. Like this has been a Liverpool season.
Aaron knows, not ideal.
Title win season for Liverpool is that like you've got like fucking Konate having like it was the same with like Alisson losing his father one season, and he scores a like towering header against West Brom.
That was decent. That was class. I remember that.
It was unbelievable. Like it's been one of those years for Liverpool. But again, I'm glad to see that the majority of the signings now have turned that corner. Like Wirtz is starting to look like the player he was recruited to be.
Oh God, yeah.
Seemingly, I think he will probably be the replacement for Salah on that right wing.
Chiesa is still unwanted.
Yeah.
Poor bastard.
And I think Isak will. I don't think Isak will really turn
Isak
into the
will
player.
fail.
Not sure.
Isak was a waste of fucking money.
I think the problem there was that I think they had already committed to the transfer. They were kind of half committed to the transfer, and then obviously losing Jota has them go into the market twice. And like
Ekitike's been great. Ekitike's been brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, I think this Liverpool team will make a lot more. Again, this is where we're in that kind of like midway through post Salah team with Salah still in it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to make sense until he's gone. I think when he is gone and when Van Dijk is gone and obviously Robertson's leaving now at the end of the summer as well because Kirkaz has well and truly succeeded him now as the starting left back.
Yeah.
And over in the last couple of games you can actually see, okay, this is the player we recruited. He is actually like a mentalist. Like that's what we want on the left flank. That's what we want. But on that point about succession,
you're a fucking mentalist.
He's a mentalist. But at the very least, I think ultimately Stoll will keep his job if he gets Champions League football. That's a non-negotiable. If he finishes sixth, he's out. And I think that's I think like as blunt as you could possibly be for a Dutch coach. Finish here or go. And that's it. That's all he needs.
And on that note, what is the next section of this podcast?
Well, funny you should talk about
the team
because we are talking about winning 11s.
That's it.
Fucking seamless.
That was great. So, here's how this game works if you are seeing this for the first time. So, as a bit of a palate cleanser for all the conversation we're had, I have picked a match from history, and I am getting my colleagues here to try and guess what the starting 11 of that team was from that match. So,
Right.
I have not told you what the match is from, but it is
No.
topical because we've been talking about the top two. We've been talking about them facing off in a title race, but that's not the only battlefield they're facing off in. Indeed, they have the Carabao Cup final to look forward to next month as well. So, do you remember the last time that Arsenal and Manchester City faced off for the League Cup final?
Was that not under Mancini?
It was under Wenger. Wenger versus
I never
Guardiola.
fucking mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the 2018 EFL Cup final. A cup final where Man City won 3-0.
Wow. Okay.
Very much was it was kind of described as the passing of the torch moment between like one dynasty to the other. That was certainly the narrative that was presented anyway.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to ask you lovely people to do
Yeah.
is to try and figure out the winning 11 from that team. So if you're not familiar with the rules,
Bernardo Silva been at fucking City for that long?
yes, he has.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah,
He's
he
been
has.
like a
Jesus.
stalwart. It's
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
He will be due his testimonial soon enough, I think. So here are the rules how it works, right? So whoever wants to go first can go, and then if you get a player right on this list, you basically stay in the game. If you get it wrong, you're out. Simple as that. If you do get one of the subs that played in the game, then you don't necessarily get a point, but you stay in the game. That's kind of the halfway house, like you
okay.
know, of staying in it. So here is the squad from Manchester City way back when in the 17-18 season. So, who wants to take the plunge and start?
I'll
go
go
first.
Oh,
Okay, how about we do it in alphabetical order? Because I always win that, and no one ever comes ahead of me.
no. There's a fair way of doing this. Odds or evens. Right, odds.
Evens.
Aaron, you start.
Okay.
Right.
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker, did he play in this game? The answer is yes, of course he did. He was on at right back, as he always seems to be.
Yeah.
So Kyle Walker was indeed in this, and Aaron, you are off the mark. Dave, who have you got?
I remember this. I remember this season for one reason. I remember this final for one reason is that like Pep Guardiola was so stubborn about having Claudio Bravo ahead of Ederson in this tournament that I believe Claudio Bravo started.
Well done, Dave. Yes, indeed. Claudio Bravo did do all the cup games for Man City that season because obviously they had the season before where Claudio Bravo was a total shit show and they got Ederson in as a worthwhile competition. But yes, in all the cup competitions, Bravo did feature. So yes, he was in goal for this match, one apiece. Aaron, next up.
I think at this point Raheem Sterling wasn't in the shit house, so I'm gonna go with him.
Raheem Sterling was injured for this game.
Oh,
Fuck.
So Raheem Sterling did not feature. Aaron is out of the game. So Dave, all you have to do is get one more name and you win.
Okay. This was during the back end of Captain Fantastic, so I'm going to say Vincent Compagnie.
Yeah, safe bet. Vincent Company did indeed play in this game. So with a 2-1
Suck a
win,
bitch. You got
Dave
no
wins.
game.
Now we do have a contingency for this, Dave. Let's see how. You can do an accumulator here. How many other names can you get on the list on the team?
Okay. 2018 City. 2018 City. This was the era in which Fernandinho was the workhorse of that midfield.
And Fernandinho did start the match, so that is absolutely correct. He was there in the midfield. So go again.
Partnering Vincent Company would have been Otamendi.
Yes, Nicholas Otamendi did partner up Vincent Company. Good slot.
Otamendi. Kevin De Bruyne. Sorry. That's stuck in my head.
Kevin De Bruyne.
So you're still rolling.
Right. Let's see. Left back Kyle Walker, Otamendi, Company. Right back.
Now, Kyle Walker was our right back for the game. Just to be clear.
We have him at left back though.
Yeah, sorry. Well, here I'll fix that then, just to make sure.
I thought it
Okay,
was
so
going
now we're
by
talking.
our
Okay,
side.
Yeah.
left back. Okay, Kyle Walker.
Yes.
Yeah, Kyle Walker right back. Yeah, it makes sense.
Hmm.
Kyle Walker right back. Fabian Delph. No.
Don't forget you have forwards to play with there as well. So
I'm gonna go with Danilo because I'm pretty sure Mendy wasn't in that squad, or at least
Danilo,
didn't feature.
you were absolutely right. Mendy did feature in the season, but not in this particular
Not in
match. So
that squad.
Danilo did start at left back.
Do.
I'd say that was the one Heffalump trap in the team because Delph actually featured most of the season at left back.
Yeah. David Silva, obviously, 2018.
Yep, David Silva, absolutely no brainer there. He was.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I can
I'm taking
definitely
the senior
say
with
that
me. Taking the coffee with me.
Granite Tabletop did not play for City at that
Nope.
time.
David Silva did indeed feature instead. So David Silva on the
All
board.
right. Gonna go with Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus was a substitute and came on.
Okay. Right.
So
Okay.
so he is sequestered, but you are still in the game.
Fuck me.
I mean, my next pick would be Aguero. Probably
My
starting that
next
game.
pick would be Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva, also a sub in this game.
Oh, fucking hell, keeping my head above
Yeah.
water.
In fact, he came on for Fernandinho in that game.
Who's that other in midfield? Gundogan.
Yes, Ilkay Gundogan was starting
That's
in this
pure
game.
guess, by the way. Pure
Yeah.
fucking guess. It was between him and De Bruyne, but I know De Bruyne doesn't really play that deep very often.
Mm.
At least at that point in time, anyway. I'm gonna go with Aaron. What Aaron said. Aguero. Oh,
Well, Aguero actually scored in this game, so yes, he did definitely did definitely play. Goes without saying. So now it's just your two wingers that featured in
I'm
this
really
game.
happy I got to help with this whole fucking thing, by the way.
I'm
Pressure's
gonna
off,
go
Dave.
with.
You can rip the piss now.
Well, there ain't many left. Sane.
Yes, Leroy Sané did start this
Yeah.
game. Yeah,
Look, I'm not gonna put my head in here in terms of you should definitely pick him, but I mean the most obvious choice I think to end this probably would be Foden.
No,
I
Foden
feel like he
wasn't
would have played.
prevalent.
He might not have been
the whole
prevalent,
season.
but I think he might have started that final.
I don't think he was old enough.
well, you
He
have
was
one
in
more.
the squad.
You have one more to find to go for a proverbial clean sweep.
Well, okay, so Foden would have been what? How old's Foden now? Somebody tell me how
26,
old Foden
27.
was.
But yeah, I think
He
he'd be
didn't
old enough.
feature. He didn't feature an awful lot.
Well, bear in mind, Phil Foden
early
was at the
on.
first team, so this is actually the first team as
Fair,
per
okay.
league. Yeah, so
Hold on, I'm fucking closing my eyes and I'll put my finger on the bleeding screen. De Bruyne.
he started on the right flank.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne was playing right wing for that game, so that is you've sussed out the 11, and just for added flavour, Phil Foden was the last sub in that game. So there you go. He actually came on for Aguero a few minutes from time. So well done, Dave. You have aced the winning 11 mini game for this week. Good job.
Woo!
And Aaron, that's what you get for believing in Raheem Sterling. Anyway, so with that then, so that's a bit of a palate cleanser. So let's go on to a really heavy topic, lads, shall we? So,
Hit
oh,
me with
fucking
the
boy,
topics, Jonathan.
this is very much that clip of
Should
Brassai.
should I get the Palestine flag that I got kicking about inside?
Well, considering this is audio only, you can whatever you fucking want. It doesn't really matter.
Ah, yeah, shit, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we could have got nude for this.
You,
Fuck.
well, no,
You
because
very well could have, yeah.
yes, and in theory, yes, but then I wouldn't speak to you again. So yeah, this is very much the brass eye segment, isn't it? This is the one thing we didn't want to happen. Ultimately, we have been drawn
Yeah.
against Israel in the Nations League coming in October,
Yay.
September, October, of course. But this is the one like kind of permutation the FAI didn't really want or need
Nope.
at this moment in time, and neither did Irish football just generally. But this is where we're at, and by the time that this podcast has come out, we have a little bit of clarity on what's going to
Yeah.
happen, what's not going to happen, all the jazz. So as things stand, the matches are going to go ahead. They are going to go ahead, or certainly the home game for us is going to happen in the Aviva at Dublin at the regular kickoff time, by all accounts. There was talk of an early kickoff like we
And
used to
what
do in
date is
England.
this?
4th of October, I believe.
So close enough to 7th.
Yeah, unfortunate timing in that respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, we're gonna have it's gonna be politically charged one way or another. But obviously, a lot of the discourse has been around like what to kind of do about the match, on a fan level, on a corporate level, on a political level.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's certain things that we can't control, and unfortunately, Irish politics and its constant professional hand wringing is one of them.
Mm.
But what we can control is what we do as fans and as kind of like members of
Not
the kind of
go.
footballing public. Well, this is what we're going to have to
I
discuss. So this
I
discussion, yeah, is what
I
to do with
very
this
much
match.
I think I it shouldn't go ahead. If it has to go ahead, I
Behind
think
closed
probably
doors.
for the safe, yes, for the safety of everyone, probably behind closed
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
No,
And
that's
just
not that
because,
is not going to happen. Apparently, it is going to be fully attended. There is
Oh
going to
no,
be
you
like
see, that's because that would be the smart thing to do, Jonathan. That's why it's not being done.
yes, I
Because
know.
like,
this,
I can
this. Oh, sorry,
again,
go on. Aaron.
I can kind of. Sorry for cutting you off. I can kind of see why, because it would be
Enlighten me.
it would be massive financial loss for the FAI to have a game there. A fucking football association that kind of is counting the pennies, all things considered. So I can kind of see A, whether even the fans go in, and B, where they actually have to play this game. Because I have a very strong feeling UEFA probably said, if you don't
Behind
do
closed
it,
doors, play it in Tala, don't lose much money.
again, again, does that stop anything from happening on the outside? Does that stop the Israelis fans coming over? At least if you got them in a stadium, you can kind of keep them far enough away from fucking everyone and just like box them in and kind of box everyone in. You know what I mean?
So I'm not
So
asking for trouble though, really. I mean, look, okay, I get where you're coming from. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because
nah,
we know how incompetent on Garda Síochána can be. We know at the moment politically we are in a fucking disastrous state. And the FAI, as you said, are running on fumes. So all of that combined, I really think they just they're way in over their head for what this is. They don't understand the trouble that this can cause. I mean, you're talking about a potential riot in Dublin city centre, and that's not even far fetched. That could very well happen.
Mm.
if and the thing is, I don't think we'll start it as
No,
much. I don't
no,
think we will. Um, it will probably be the Israeli fans kicking off over something fucking small that will
yeah.
cause a snowball effect. And not that I want to sit here either and say they're just going to do it because of scumbags. It's just we're smart enough
No,
not to fuck the place up.
they'll do a march to the stadium. Someone somewhere will wave a Palestine flag, and the whole fucking thing will go up in
The whole
uproar. It's
fucking
something as
thing will
simple
go.
as that.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
So
we should clarify that, like, we should, just in case anyone's kind of like out of context, like this, there is unfortunately precedence for this in terms of now. Obviously, there's been like kind of flares up internationally with Israel at the moment. Like, obviously, we mentioned that
Yeah,
we're in a group with Norway and Italy. Italy, like on the ground, are not particularly fans of Israel. Politically, it's a different story, but
which is funny, isn't it? It's
yeah,
quite
it's
ironic.
no, well, it's just that's European politics. It's extremes. It's extremes
Yeah.
here and there. The other round's very populist based at the minute. Whereas Norway, like
Why?
they had a similar conundrum to us. They opted to play the games, but they donated all the proceedings to of the game to Palestinian charities like the Red Cross and Medicine Sans Frontières and stuff like that. So they were able to like use the game as a beacon of
yeah.
hope as opposed to anything else.
Okay.
They later acknowledged the fact that like they didn't particularly want to play Israel, but they had to play Israel for sporting merit, for sporting integrity, but also the fact that like there is no like not to say there is no like precedence in it, there is precedence to it. Like countries have decided to move their home games because of it,
But
the risk
if
about
that's
Israeli
really the
football.
case, right? This brings up the argument again, and I just don't see the real point in all of this when you have Russia banned from international competition for
Mm.
the invasion of Ukraine. Israel walk into Gaza, level the majority of the place, and they still get to play in football. Yet Russia is still banned. I'm not saying admit Russia. I'm just saying hold them to the same standard and ban them from international competition altogether.
Yeah, well, I think that's also that you see. This is why this is why the FA themselves are in such a tricky position because they were the only football association to have tabled a motion to UEFA to ban Israel from international football, and they were compelled to do that by the EGM. So the members of the FAI compelled the board to submit this motion. Now again, it is literally only like a motion. It has not moved anywhere
Yeah.
beyond that. But what it is, it has set a level of a precedent of a football association actively looking to ban this team, this country from international
Yeah.
football. But it's not just that as well. You see, it's also the Israeli clubs from European football as well. And again, there's all this kind of knock-on effects from there. And this is where the kind of the worrying precedence is, because there is also a distinct. There's always going to be a distinct possibility that a League of Ireland team will be drawn an Israel team in UEFA competitions.
Yeah.
And again, there's been precedents where, like, we separate Russian and Ukrainian teams from a draw because of geopolitical conflicts. There's been Balkan kind of like splits done in the past as well. So they've done stuff like this before. The problem is that with UEFA, their precedence is very based on geographical like clashes. Let's say. So let's say if there's been, again, forgive my ignorance with the Balkans, so there'd be people far more qualified for me geography wise. But in the past, we've had like Albania, Kosovo, Serbia, Montenegro, all these different countries.
Didn't the
having issues.
Albanians?
Yeah.
Didn't the Albanians one time put that drone over? Was it Serbia or Kosovo?
It was I think it was a Serbia
fucking
game.
It was that was at the because a couple of players got fined for doing the Albanian.
The Eagle,
The Eagle, that was. I believe Shaqiri was one of them actually. So Shaqiri got fined for that.
Yeah.
Yes. So we've had precedents for that in the past. Now again, they haven't done what they've done. They've done it on an international level, because again, it's more so the actual football associations themselves have been requesting these kind of blocks. But on a club level, this hasn't been happening. So it would actually be down. So this is where it gets even trickier for the FAI, because again, hypothetically, especially in the Conference League, there's a higher risk of the higher percentage of getting an Israeli team, because there's just more of those kind of clubs in that kind of in our pool, let's say. Like it's highly unlikely Shamrock Rovers, let's say, would get like Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Champions League draw, because
Hapoel Beersheva or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Maccabi Tel Aviv kind of pop up in the round after us, so like just by law of probabilities, this wouldn't happen. So, but in the Conference League, it's kind of a free for all, because a lot of it's down to the club seeding, and typically the Israeli teams fail to qualify for Europe quite a bit, so their seasons are quite low.
Yeah, like what
I
find
we're in the same boat in that respect. So
what I find really interesting is if you look at the whole peace deal with Russia that has apparently been happening for the last year. I read a really good article, and really interesting article, on the future of Ukrainian football should a peace deal be reached. And the biggest thing that came of that is, are we going to get a Swansea Cardiff situation? Because Russia would inherit the Donetsk region, which hosts Shakhtar, who are the biggest club in Ukraine. So the article was kind of looking at how will this affect Ukrainian football if Russia now owns the Donetsk region. Would they allow Shakhtar to play in the Ukrainian league, or would they absorb them into the Russian league? And then you have all sorts of different things. It was just an interesting topic of discussion.
I think on that one,
what would happen to Ukrainian football?
Well, there's precedence for that with Derry City. Like Derry City is
so I was about to say, right. So Derry City would be
and again, it's
because
also
you couldn't really have Derry City playing.
Yeah,
you couldn't really have Derry City playing in the north, because Jesus Christ, they'd be away every other week.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean?
So Derry City has a choice, have a license with the FAI as opposed to the Irish FA. So it could be a situation where, again, it depends on how autonomous like that scenario would happen, whether they would be able to apply for a Ukrainian FA license as opposed to Russian FA, or would that be part of the fine print? Who knows? Because again, Shakhtar Donetsk is quite a massive like club in Europe, could very well win the Conference League this season, so they're going to bring a lot of money into the Ukrainian economy. So there is that other kind of quality to it as well. But we're like, again, this is kind of going back on old turf in a sense. With what we're having now at the moment, so I wanted to kind of mention as well, there was a survey done by the Professional Footballers Association of Ireland, and it was the chairperson was Roberto Lopez, the Shamrock Rovers captain, and they put out a survey discussing the matter amongst the players. A survey done, 2/3 of the survey basically said, and these are professional players playing in the League of Ireland, I think it was about 214, I think, or thereabouts, and 2/3 of them said we should not be playing this game. We should boycott the games, take whatever repercussions we have, and so be it. And again, they drill down as to why we should and why shouldn't we. And again, the vast majority of those people who say no is because of moral reasons. They're not like 2/3 say we shouldn't play it, and then 2/3 say they won't attend it. And again, the reason why is for moral reasons as opposed to safety or security and stuff like that. So this is the kind of quandary we have as Ireland at the moment. Again, like for those uninitiated, Ireland is one of the very rare cases of a European country that has been colonized in its past. We know what it's like to have been ravaged and abused historically by an empire, or certainly by forces larger and more powerful than us, and we have no means of escape, no means of, shall we say, kind of like repercussions in that respect. And obviously we have that stuff in our history. Go read a book. You don't need me to bore you with the details. But that's what kind of is frustrating in that respect, is that like UEFA will look at Ireland and go, why are you the ones that are fussing over this? And again, you have such a nonsense media storm, and a lot of bad actors, a lot of like American politicians wading in on this nonsense debate, because again, they're all co-opted by Israeli money. And they're saying like, oh, how dare Ireland, an anti-Semitic country, and anti-Semitic, everything goes back to an anti-Semitism argument, and it really, really isn't. Like for Ireland, it is a moral stance that we shouldn't be playing against a team that are committing a genocide against another race. That is as simple as that. And really, I think it kind of shows how depressing and disappointing the entire thing is, that we are kind of alone in this. There's a lot of lip service. There's a lot of other nations and football associations that are saying good things and saying important things, but they're not actually tabling emotion. I look at Spain, I look at Norway, and saying like, listen, you guys actually have a little bit of weight behind you, and you are not doing this. We're not going to get the support from Austria and Kosovo, for example. They're not going to table emotion along with us. That's just not going to happen. Different geopolitics altogether for those two countries, so they're not going to follow us on this. So I suppose my question for the group is that how far can our moral kind of obligations go at the risk of a sporting punishment? So like if we were to boycott the games, we'd lose 6 points. Israel would gain those 6 points and possibly go to League A. So they're getting a better seeding for the Euros and a higher probability then of them facing us in Ireland, in Euro 2028. And again, there's also that kind of risk then of us losing Euro 2028. But David Carell of the FAI said that's apparently not an option. That's not going to be taken away from us. It is literally just for seeding for the competition that we're going to host. And the way that's going to work is, if we don't qualify automatically, we're still going to get there as a host, like spots. So it's a win-win situation for us here. We could boycott it and keep our moral stance, and also still host our tournament with our high morals and notions. So that's my question to you guys. Like, how far can our morals go here in the flight of like geopolitics?
So the argument can be made of a similar stance to Jimmy Carter and the Olympics in the late 70s, early 80s, where he said boycott the Olympics in Moscow. And basically, the Olympic Committee came back and said we don't want politics to interfere with our sports, and they're still going ahead, the Olympics in Moscow. Now, other nations did boycott it. Don't get me wrong, they did boycott it, but it didn't stop it from going ahead. So, in my opinion, I would be happy to boycott it because I think it would be more of definitely a better moral stance, 110%. I would happily rather have a moral stance on it, and
I think you're risking Irish football to be fucked for a generation if we do it. I think
that's the other problem as well. Is I think like, and this is why I mentioned the clubs as well.
I'm sorry I stopped off at that there for a second, right? Because obviously no one can see the camera and shit. It's just Dave turning around and the camera slowly just panning into the corner.
That's because that's what you didn't see, the kamikaze leap like his cat did into that box. That's what was funny there. But yes, that's a bit of level there. But as Aaron says, I think like financially, I think it's even financially. I think politically it cripples us because it makes.
I don't think UEFA would.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck over.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go for just 2 minutes.
Go for it.
Yeah. I don't think they would fuck over the national team, right? I think they would probably give us a fine. Maybe say you have to play your next 3 home games behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I think what they would do would fuck over the club sides.
This is what I was going to think, yeah.
Yeah. I think they'd fuck over the club sides and tell them no European football for 2 or 3 years. And that's where we get fucked. Yeah. Because it's one thing the international sides getting a fine or having to play behind closed doors or maybe losing 1 or 2 matches in the next Euros, where they co-hosted with the Brits and the Scottish.
Yeah,
that's one thing. Fucking over the club teams for 3 years would be much more damaging for us.
Yeah,
because the League of Ireland is pushing on, and we're getting there. But we can't survive without European football right now. With
absolutely,
the money that Rovers are getting, and with the money specifically Rovers and how well they've been doing, and all these other sides that are slowly getting in there, like Pats this year. Granted, they didn't do well against the likes of Palace. They got absolutely fucking hammered. It was like a training session for them, but it still showcased the league in probably better than any other fucking team has. And that I don't think Rovers have had a bigger game in Europe.
well, we had the away game against Chelsea, to be fair.
You had the away game against Chelsea, but like imagine you were playing Chelsea at home. Fuck, that would have been class.
Well, but that's true. Well, then we would have had the games against Spurs as well, to be fair, in the first time we went to Europe. So we have I see what you mean in that respect. Yeah,
it's losing out, and that is the fucking issue. So I feel like if the FAI were told by you weren't in no uncertain terms, you can fucking boycott it if you want, but Rovers aren't going to be in the Conference League anymore. You're not going to get any Champions League spots for the next couple of years, and they'd probably affect the coefficients. So it could get to the point where we might not have any. Can you lose a Champions League spot for a league win?
Well,
is that possible?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you could just be they could just be excluded from competition and do what happens to Russia.
No, I mean in the coefficients. So if let's say they had 3 seasons of side of football and it affected coefficient for the next 3 seasons and they got knocked down
no, you just start the Champions League at a lower point. So what'll happen is every national league in UEFA has a Champions League spot. But say let's say bottom of the pile was like San Marino or something. They would start off in the first qualifying round and they're unseeded, and they'll always play against a team that is a seeded team. So at one point that would have been Ireland because we were so low down. I think this year now, we're hopefully starting at the second qualifying round. So either way, Shamrock Rovers would be guaranteed a Conference League spot. I think that's how it works. Don't quote me on that. Right. I think it's very fluid every year in terms of the qualifying rounds. So we don't know until the Champions League is over and everyone else is done.
In terms of funny content, so Wolves are about to win this game, which renders the entire first half of this podcast pointless.
Well, I mean, not really, because Villa still but even them eating a loss, Villa still finished third. So actually, it's not that bad. They still have finished ahead of United and Liverpool. Okay. So yeah,
I literally thought, right, well, I've literally spent the last hour talking bollocks because Wolves are just got to fucking win anyway.
No, they can take a loss to Wolves. It's a psychological effect to it, is more than anything else. But no, so let's talk then about what's really going to happen then in terms of October. So this is where we kind of have to make a decision on what we do in that sense. I am of the view, and again, this is where there's 2 camps in that sense. There's a camp of those who would rather attend the match and lodge their protests there with whatever they can do. Personally, I think security will allow that.
I will say I'm kind of half on that camp. I actually would. I think. I suppose it's not probably the best way to say it. Quite honestly, probably a once in a lifetime opportunity to be a fucking shithead in front of Israelis for 90 minutes. I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity again. I don't care if I'm fucking on the other side of the stadium and they can't see me. But you're telling a bunch of fucking genocidal freaks to go fuck themselves for 90 minutes. It sounds kind of fun to me in a stadium. It would just be fun. It would be the before and it would be the after.
But the problem is, if Israel win that match and get the 3 points and you're still there, hey, yeah, but I got to fucking tell them they're genocidal freaks. It kind of negates the point. Then you're saying, well, the football match was irrelevant in your case. You just want to go and shout abuse.
Well, no, the football match is still the main part of it. I still think we can beat the Israelis, by the way. So I actually think we're good enough to beat the Israelis. So I think us losing against them, I actually don't think we're actually capable of losing against them at home. I think it would be such a fucking cauldron inside there. The Israelis would buckle it. No, the Tel Aviv game, on the other hand,
won't be hosting Tel Aviv.
I don't think it will be either. I think it will still be Budapest. Yeah.
I thought the Tel Aviv were they were going to go. Yeah, we can play.
They're looking into it because basically all their home games have been played in Hungary or elsewhere, because of what's been happening because of the war in Gaza type of.
I think it'll be in Ferencváros Stadium, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think it'll probably become too soon in that sense because again they're using this. Yeah. There's ways and means around it, but they're trying to get the games at Tel Aviv this time around. But we'll see. I'm of the view like, again, I think this kind of settles on the point of whether you're happy with the FAI's decision or not. Because I think if you're going to attend a match, you are giving your money to the FAI.
Yeah,
And that to me is kind of a slight kind of endorsement of their decision. And in a weird way, I like it again, we're going back to brass eye here, is like I don't like it, but we have to go along with it, is my kind of policy of like
yeah, lesser of two evils,
yeah.
you know.
Well, it's not even less of two evils, Dave. I think it's more of a case like we literally like if you do the kind of cause analysis of like what would happen if we do pull out of these two
Hmm.
matches, we're the bad guys in that equation. They will not consider
Fair.
Israel's like again, they're doing this thing where they consider the football team to be a separate
Mm.
entity to the Israel government, which
Yeah,
in
fair.
most countries' cases is sure absolutely fine because we've had that before in World Cups where like
Yeah.
the Gulf War is happening and USA and Iran play each other.
Here, look,
They're
Mhm.
absolutely fine with each other. They hand
like
each
the
other's flowers and it's
in
a wonderful
yeah,
match. Like,
on the caveat of the Israel and Ireland match, and on the same kind of subject,
hmm,
we have the World Cup coming up before this Israel match, right?
yes,
Now we're in a much more dangerous situation from a World Cup point of view because what's the first game? Or what was the first game you said, Aaron? Was it Iran and someone else?
I
in
think
terms of
so.
the World Cup, like, is it?
Yeah, Iran at the World Cup.
Yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
yeah,
So Iran are at the World
God,
Cup,
oh God, that would be.
right?
Oh fuck.
And we're literally US and UK have just pulled every diplomat and they pulled their shutters down in
mm.
Iran and pulled them all out because they're bracing for American attacks. How the fuck is that going to work with the World Cup?
Mm.
Seriously, I mean Mexico's on fire as it is.
Well, again, bear in mind as well that like the fact is that like they've like there is a separate like again if you hear what Pochettino's been saying about his own national team, he is not comfortable being the team coach of America. In fact, he's
He
kind of
doesn't
making a
look it.
point. No, he's making a
Every
point of
time
having
I've
his
seen
press
him
conference
talk,
in Spanish as well, which I feel like that's kind of
yeah,
an intentional
That's a
ploy.
political move, though. That's
That
like
is a political
I
move. Yeah,
support
yeah,
the immigrants within this country, but I'm
yes,
making my point in post-match interviews and pre-match interviews
yeah.
where it can be deemed, oh, it's just because my English isn't great. I'm going to speak Spanish because the majority of this country does anyway.
Yes, and I
yeah.
think he's based in Miami as well, so I think that's kind of the reason
Exactly.
for it.
There
So
you
yeah,
go.
but again, it's that kind of other aspect of it. Like my policy of it is I don't agree with the FEI's decision. I think ultimately when like again it's really how you weigh into it is the fact that like yes
Yeah.
we will if we do boycott this games and lose 6 points and we probably will get relegated, but that's also like that's also
Yeah.
assuming we don't pick up those points against Kosovo
Yeah, and it's also assuming
or
that
against Austria. Yeah.
things won't look, we can speak about this and make speculation all you want. The Israel games could come and go and there could be no hassle and just a football match, a few scuffles here and there, a few protests, blah blah blah.
Mm.
But it could all be absolutely fine as well on the flip side.
Yeah, I see.
It
This
could go off
this is
without a
the
hitch.
thing as well. It's like I don't think there's been any massive. Again, this is where like the Angardi will have probably hopefully have done their research or there'll be some
Yeah.
level of kind of backstory to it. But I would hope I would more believing that the club side of the Israeli clubs have had more trouble in Europe than the national team has had in Europe. Um,
Yeah.
again, like it's kind of the weird thing where maybe it's a different age group, maybe it's a different kind of like just catch with the people, expats. You just whatever whichever way you kind of you cut it. I know like, Israel inherently are expats, but indulge me here for a minute. But like we all the issues that you've had seen with like Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, let's say, causing trouble in Amsterdam and Birmingham and all this,
Mhm.
and you've had various kind of isolated in like situations like that before where they do cause serious violence and it usually is against innocent people and it's not necessarily it has nothing to do with them being in football, it is literally to do with them being thugs and it's them
Yeah.
feeling entitled to do what they want.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen in Ireland where I'll be honest is they're going to be fucking outnumbered 10-1? They probably are going
Yeah.
to not cause a fuss. And Ireland, again, I don't know if you've heard, lads, but we're the fucking country of welcomes. Like we literally are the most flowery people possible when it comes to language. So Ireland will do their best.
That's one way to put
Ireland
it.
on a government on a political side will do their
Unless
best,
you're
but
Conor McGregor, you know.
well, that's I don't count him as Irish. So, but even that's right. Like, so my view would be I plan to boycott the game. I plan like if there's a march on or if there's a protest on outside the Viva, I intend to attend that instead. Um, predominantly because I would like my voice to be shared with those who don't agree with either the fact that Israel should be in UEFA competitions, nor the fact that we've had to go along with this absolute nonsense
Yeah.
agreement. Again,
Yeah.
I've got sympathy for the FAI here, but again, we're in a world where morals are coming very much second, third, and fourth place to fucking money, money and capital and
Money.
equity and land and no human rights, no civil rights, no so
No.
whatsoever, and it's all coming.
Record
We all know where it's
homelessness
coming
in
from as well.
Ireland,
Yeah,
17,000, new record high
yeah,
for
and at
homelessness.
that point, I think there are going to be certain situations, certain moments, and they're going to come from the most unlikely places where you see where society is, especially in Ireland, especially in other countries, and like this should be one of those examples where
Yep.
my best case scenario for me would be an empty Aviva stadium where the fans have boycotted the match, but the fans are outside the Aviva. In fact, I would love personally for all the fans to attend for the national anthem, to sing our on the Veen, and once it kicks off, leave. And that would
That
be the
that
finest
that would
protest
be
for me.
quite good.
Yeah, and that would be the
But
folk that
yeah,
let the Israelis have their stay there in the stadium in silence. Now, again, the players will probably be psychologically affected by that. They need to be
Yeah.
yeah. I hope they would understand that it's not them that were protesting. It is the circumstance,
yeah.
it's the context.
I
And
think
again, had the protest out there
what's
the
kind of
stadium and be
helped
vocal.
what's kind of helped the FAI as well in this is none of the players have said anything.
Well, you see, the problem is, see, I'm not a fan of the FEI on this one because when the draw was made, David Carell made no comment, and he was at the draw. But what he did was he left Heimer Hallgrimsson in the mix zone and let him answer the questions, and I don't think that's fair on Heimer
Yeah,
either.
that's not
And
him.
again,
That's not fair to him at all.
no, but again, it's the same as anything else. Like the manager is the spokesperson for the club or the country at that point. So fucking
Mm,
Gareth Southgate is getting asked questions about British politics. It's like that's not his fucking job. By the way, you can tell he
mm.
fucking votes Labour because look at the fucking head on him. But that's not the point. You know what I mean?
Nah, he's not a Labour voter. He's a Lib
He's
Dem.
not anymore.
He's a
No,
Lib Dem voter.
He's
He's a
Lib
Lib
Dem. He's
Dem
got a big
voter.
Lib
he's a
Dem
Lib Dem
mentality.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree with
He
you
has
now.
a picture of Nick Clegg above his bed.
Probably just a
like
podcast.
he obviously wants better social services and there to be less racism, but at the same time, maybe he's not too keen on the trans people, and maybe he doesn't fully agree on whole gay marriage thing.
Maybe he's
He's
in the
kind of
Rowling
like
camp a little bit. Maybe he does like Harry Potter. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? We're speculating here. But yeah, that's our stance on it anyway. So, lads, to wrap up the podcast, let's get stuck
Yes.
into our fucking handacods.
This fella Ronaldo is a cod. I don't care what it goes. I mean, you can't do that.
You seem exceedingly smug about the idea of people, kids particularly.
Your blood. He's the guy. He ran away and left his wife for a young one.
Here we go, boy.
So,
Fucking hand a card, boy.
Dev, let's stick to domestic affairs and go with your cod for this week.
Yes.
Who are you nominating for your cod?
Drogheda United fans.
Are we specifically talking about the famous 45 or just generally?
I'm gonna go with the ultras because they're the ones
Yeah.
that bring in the flares, and
Yeah,
they're the
famous
ones
45.
that.
Yeah.
So the reason that I'm choosing the Drogheda United fans for me hand absolute bloody bunch of cods, a lot of them, is because they caused severe damage to a brand new pitch at Oriel Park, a place that's known for being falling apart as it is. They spent money to get a new pitch in there. Fair play to them. The new playing surface that was desperately needed. And then they go ahead, match day 1 or 2 or whatever it was, and they burned the pitch to sunder. Fair play to the club came out today and said they're going to cover the cost of the repairs at Oriel Park. Fair play to Drogheda United for doing that. But a bunch of cods caused the fine in the first place and the cost to their club of having to do that. It's just stupid, just absolute gobshites, a lot of them. These are the fans I cannot stand that damage property for the sake of just being dopes. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't it mad? There's how many clubs are in Dublin between the two divisions? Six?
Five clubs in Dublin. Yeah.
5 clubs in Dublin. There's 2 in Cork.
2 in
And on
Louth.
the west, and then on the no, this is what I'm going to go back to. You have Galway, Sligo on one
Kerry.
side.
Hmm.
You have Kerry to make a Munster
Treaty.
derby, 2 Munster derbies, and you have
Treaty
Waterford United as well. And there's obviously rivalries there.
Yep.
What the fuck is going on at fucking Louth where they absolutely despise each other?
They're too close to the north.
They're the size of a fucking car park, and
but they're too close to the north. It's influencing it too much. Do you know what I mean? That's a big rad domain up there.
I mean,
with the pyro and that, you know.
But it always kind of like what like if you put a gun to somebody's head, what's the most dangerous rivalry for the fans in the League of Ireland? You'd probably say Bows and Rovers or fucking Bows and Pats or whatever.
Shells and Bows or Shells and Pats.
No, it's the two clubs fucking loud.
Who I might add they have their own cup competition as well.
Yeah, the Jim Malone Cup, yeah.
I might add.
And by the way, that's the thing with derbies though, is it's always the ones that's kind of under the radar. Do you know what the most statistically the most violent derby is in England?
I want to say Millwall and Chelsea.
Nowhere near.
No, it's something fucking mad. Is it one of the lower league ones?
Is it non-league?
No, not non-league. Well, there is a non-league derby that is more violent, but the one I'm thinking of is
within the EFL pyramid.
Yeah.
Pompey and Southampton.
No, good guess, but no.
Oh, okay.
Exeter and no. I was going to say Portsmouth and Exeter, but no.
Remarkably enough, the most
too far away.
Plymouth
Plymouth.
Statistically, the most violent football rivalry is actually the Welsh derby, Cardiff versus Swansea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is statistically, or at least in the past, has been statistically the most.
The Sheepshagger Showdown.
Yeah. So there you go. That again, it's one of the things that kind of fall on the radar. But it's that kind of thing where I was very close to picking Patrick O'Donovan for my COD this week on a similar vein. More so for the insane fucking hand wringing of it all. Right? Okay, so he attends the match. He is like this guy, the minister for fucking, minding to be in the jar.
He's cod, absolute cod,
Right. And he's like, he's there attending the match, and he puts on socials, he's having a great atmosphere, shows the pictures of players in the stands going, God, lad, this is great. And then immediately he must have got his head slapped by fucking Michael Martin and said, no, actually, we're supposed to hate this. And
bad.
Then his immediate hand wringing, and he goes, okay, actually, breaking news, Flair's bad, Astro bad, you're all terrible, you're not getting any money. And I was like, okay, that's a knee-jerk reaction and a fucking half. And it was only just before I jumped on there, Brian Kerr, once again, with sage words that we should all listen to, basically took this fella to the fucking cleaners and said, you wouldn't have said any of this if this happened at a Leinster game or at GAA.
Yeah.
But because it's football, you're throwing the book at us because you don't like football.
It's the old legacy, it's the legacy of hating the British game that's instilled in so many of the
but it's rugby as well. Rugby is a
countryside of Ireland. If you go into Dublin, it's different because in Dublin you had the whole 80s of even the 70s. If you go back to late 70s, early 80s, you had that Manchester United, Liverpool, and you had the access to English football finally, and you had the Spurs, and you had Houghton and Galvin and all that Spurs.
It's an urban sport. That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's why.
But elsewhere in the country, nobody paid attention to it. It was more GAA. It was more Munster. Rugby was the big thing back then as well.
Yeah, well, again, much to your point about the distribution of the league is that's why there's 5 Dublin clubs. That's why there's only two in Cork, and there's 3 for the rest of the country. That's just the way they put the Cumbrals. But I think the Drogheda fans it's very frustrating because I've obviously kind of got really stuck into the League of Ireland the last few years, and I can tell you I can count on my hand the amount of trouble we've had at any one of those games, and often it is just one idiot that just won't shut his hole. Maybe a few people fucking vaping in the stands and stuff like that. It really isn't that bad. But again, it's that kind of thing because
by the way, right, as an avid vapor myself, which is cutting down and is actually doing a very good job of cutting down.
There's a book for that.
From vapor.
Yeah, there's a book for
that. I have been cutting down. I kind of half don't agree with no vaping in football stadiums.
I do.
And
I don't want that
listen,
strawberry shite anywhere near me.
no,
That's kind of my stance as well.
I
Like-
mean,
I
I know
nearly
you
lumped the
don't.
fella in the
but if-
airport 2 weeks ago for doing that. He got off the plane and walked into the fucking terminal, you know, the T15K coming off of Ryanair, and the cunt just started vaping straight away. He got in the terminal. I said, "Did you ever fuck?" I nearly hit the thing off his hand.
Okay, I like to point out, in a terminal inside, no. A football stadium, no. 'Cause
Packed
that's
full of
like,
fans in close capacity still, but that's okay.
I think it's because
you're
it's under
fucking
the bracket
open.
of smoking. That's probably why. That's like
I
essentially.
mean, yeah, I understand the reason, right? So that's just a very small thing that I need to talk about. But
Yeah.
just go ahead.
I like the idea that that's what's stopping you from attending League of Ireland games. You can't like.
And there he goes. Look at that.
Snoop Dogg on a
Fucking,
Friday night, like.
If you can't see this, folks, on camera, Aaron is "fuck you" vaping, which
Yeah.
is basically he has talked about it and gone, "I'm going to blow smoke into the camera. Fuck you all. I'm sorry, fuck ye all."
Yeah.
There you go.
It's,
Fuck
it's
ye all.
that bit. It's that bit from
Up the
Father
riddles.
Ted, isn't it? Like where fucking what's his name, Dick Byrne, like puffs the smoke and he just goes, lovely fags.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Drogheda fans, bunch of bastards. Aaron, your cut is about one particular bastard in
It is about
your hearts.
one particular. But I didn't want to make. I gotta be honest. I didn't want to make it about United again because
Yes, you did.
I want to actually. I actually didn't because my card was actually going to be something else.
But who was your
gonna
card?
It was going to be very online specific. My card's about fucking our intrepid owner, our lovely owner, Sir Big Jim Ratcliffe,
Major General, Big Sir, Commandant Ratcliffe the Third,
coming out of fucking nowhere and going, England's being colonized by the Muslims. He didn't say the Muslims, but
we all know he meant the
it.
Muslims.
He meant it.
We all know that he meant the Muslims.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
fuck yourself, you tax dodging fucking up your own hole cunt. What the fuck are you doing? I was in Manchester again recently, right? That place is built by immigrants.
Yeah.
Have you been on the Curry Mile, ladies and gentlemen? This is Sir Jim Radcliffe's educational values of his surroundings. Basically, if you've been to Manchester before, you will know that it has quite the high Muslim, Sikh, and Hindu population within this general vicinity. There is an entire mile stretch of road called the Curry Mile, which is inhabited by Middle Eastern and Muslim restaurants.
And that sounds
and this
amazing,
guy,
by the way. I want to be on that
it
part.
really is. It really is. And my colon really pay for later in life. But the bottom line is, this guy has a clue about the city that he lives in or the club that he owns in the city that he lives in because
He
he's
doesn't.
a fucking gobshite.
I went to. It also has a very big, very strong connection with the Chinese community as well.
Great bunch of lads.
To which the Manchester not the History Museum. So we said the museum, the main museum in Manchester.
Yeah.
Had a whole thing dedicated to the Indian population that have come through there and the Chinese population that have come through there. Me and Chloe went to it. It was great fun. It's you own a football club that, for all intents and purposes, has most of its shit from immigrants. Because an immigrant is not the brown lad down the street. It's also the lad from Cork who was a captain for fucking 6 or 7 years and is one of the greatest captains in the history of the club.
Never mind that their kits are made. Probably
their kits are made in
Pakistan Thailand or China.
Their greatest goalkeeper ever is, depending on how you want to go about it, there's 3 options: a Spaniard, a Dutchman.
I'd say the Dane, to be honest with you, would be my pick there.
The Dane is your pick. I think I saw.
I can understand Dutchman. I can understand the Dutchman. Yep.
Yeah. Right. One of granted the greatest centre backs in Englishman, arguably. But you can also go with the Serb. That's been inside there. Some of our greatest midfielders in the history of the club and our wingers have all been fucking immigrants, bar Beckham and Giggs and stuff like that. Like, you do understand that when you have a football club, you need to fucking recognize it's not.
I would
it's
like
not
to
just
point out
insulated to Manchester or England. It's Manchester United is arguably the second, maybe the first most followed football club on planet Earth.
Yes,
everyone knows what the
agree with that. Yeah,
you have attackers by the name of Amad Diallo. You have Brian and Burmo. You have had Muslim players in your club and squad for many, many years. Imagine how they felt when this guy comes out who owns a fucking club and it's like, why would I play for this club now? Why would I willingly step onto the pitch for a club that's run by, pretty much a racist? That's what he is. Let's call a
For
spade
all
a spade.
intents and purposes, he's a fucking racist. And to add on to this, which is like an asterisk next to it, fuck Simon Jordan as well. Because his comments afterwards, he was asked the question, what you expect him to do? I actually expect Jim Ratcliffe to go, I don't want to talk about that because I'm a club owner. And I'm just going to just keep that opinion to myself.
But he's gone completely Wetherspoon on it. He's gone completely Wetherspoon fucking reform on it.
That's the absurd thing about this whole thing for Jim Ratcliffe, is that he kind of volunteered it a little bit, because he was talking about
he did kind of volunteer. It was fucking mad.
Like, he wasn't actually prompted to say it or anything like that. It was like, in a weird way, he's almost like when I was looking back at the whole interview, because he was talking about anything else but Manchester United at the time, and then the conversation went to Man United about and it was other kind of projects. What's very clearly happened with Jim Ratcliffe, and I think, again, this kind of shows you how cynical this whole thing is that I don't think he has anything at all to do with racism for Jim Ratcliffe. Like, I think he is a racist, just to be clear. However, I don't think he was I don't think his mindset was that I don't like this group of people, I'm going to nail them to the wall here. I think what's happened is that he's basically been told no, he's not getting his tax-free government-funded renovation of Old Trafford that makes it look like a giant fucking circus tent. That's not happening. You're not getting your rejuvenation project that you were hoping for. Sorry about you. And because he was a Labour voter the first time around and endorsed Labour in order to get to the election, now he's suddenly doing everything in the Nigel Farage playbook to get into bed with them. And I think that's where he was going with. That is the level of out of touchness we're talking about here, is that he has not respected the fact that his words have such magnitude that it is going to affect people on the ground in a city, as you said, Aaron, is so immigrant heavy, immigrant oriented, immigrant based, that, again, Manchester is the ideal city for your modern Britain. It is multicultural, it is diverse, it's a melting pot, it has everything.
Phenomenal city.
It's the north of England. It is the immigrant hotspot of the country.
It is.
You look at Liverpool with the Irish in the 50s and 60s who had a whole generation of Republic of Ireland players.
Yeah. But don't forget, there's also a massive Windrush generation there as well, and and that's and again the stuff
that were also fucked over, by the way.
Yeah, exactly, and they've been fucked over massively too. So you have all that aspect to it as well. Maybe it's me reading the tea leaves a little bit too much, but I do choose to believe there is a butterfly effect from having Big Sir Jim running his mouth and being a complete idiot to now the Greens having their first MP in Manchester. I don't think the two are a coincidence. It is a fact that they have seen
it's very
the
much,
possibilities of actually, no, there's one candidate here who's not an asshole. I'm gonna vote for her. She's one of us.
Yep.
And genuinely, that's the kind of sphere that Britain is living in a little bit. That there's such a disconnect between politicians is one thing, but there's a disconnect between Big Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who claims to be a local lad, who claims to support a club for X amount of years, and yet doesn't seem to understand the city he lives in. That's like me saying, "Oh, I'm a lifelong Shamrock Rovers." If I was to own Shamrock Rovers, I'm a lifelong supporter of Dublin. Sorry, what's Phibsborough? Is that a chipper?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There are Welsh people here. Oh, they need to leave now. No, I'm not having Welsh here. Nope, get them out.
Quite a large Chilean minority if you really want to piss them off.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just start picking on fucking Brazilians. The one group of people well known for their
probably one of the largest groups, minority groups in Dublin at the moment is in fact the Brazilian minority. Which is extremely fucking large.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You should see, I'm telling you right now, I work with some Brazilians and they're some of the funniest people I've ever met. They are genuinely
Aaron, we gotta run. They're getting in everywhere. They're getting into government institutions. We need to run.
But it's not even that. It's about they are willing to do, again, this is the whole argument about economic migrants and stuff like that. They're willing to do jobs that unfortunately some people in this country don't want to do. And they'll do it unfortunately, for a pittance, and that is a really sad economy.
Look at the pickers. Look at the pickers' jobs, and everyone's complaining about them flying in pickers from Romania. And the simple answer is they're only flying in people from Romania, not because it's cheaper to do it. It's because Irish people, I think, they're too good for picking the fruit in the fields for 8 hours a day. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do it to stay in Australia for 6 weeks. And
it goes back to that conversation. Is Big Sir Jim basically does not see that granular level of again, he is the top of that kind of food chain.
Yeah.
He has no interest in the bottom rung, and basically that's to kind of expose the whole aspect of
Yeah.
it.
The
And
cafeteria lady
speaking of
sacking put a
racism,
full stop on that.
exactly.
I will. No, I'm just going to end it with this as well.
Go for it.
There's more than anything, right? To go back to your point of um the Andy Burnham is probably not going to fully back the regeneration of that area
Yeah.
near Old Trafford, which by the way is a shame because that area is desperate for fucking money. Holy shit, that area is desperate for money. It's lovely
It's been bad for years.
It's lovely in the sense of I've now done it on off a match day on the way to go to a stadium tour, and I've done it on a match day. It's kind of lovely in that regard. But fuck me, he needs money. I think he was really banking Andy Burnham to become an MP because it's highly likely if Andy Burnham leaves, Reform probably take the mayoralship, and that would probably mean he gets the money that he needs.
Yeah.
To do what he wants to do. So
yeah,
it was probably tactical on his part.
Yes.
Some of it. He just
fair.
Was like you could have very easily just turned around and went, I just don't particularly like Andy Burnham. I would rather someone new. I would rather a reform candidate go in. And that would have been fine. And you would have been like, he's a rich fella backing the rich people. Whatever. Cool. Like with such it was like, okay. Didn't have to say you hated Muslims. I feel like you could have fucking you could have stopped with that.
Again, it's the constant refrain of the 1%ers is to blame the most vulnerable people and say it's their fault when it's actually them that's the problem.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's that line from the third Austin Powers movie. The one thing I hate in life is intolerance and the Dutch. Like I feel like you could have avoided the Dutch bit. I feel like you had us in the first part, you lost us in the second part.
You did.
Yeah.
So sticking with the racism theme, my card for this week, and again, it's something that we've like perhaps on a more regular podcast we'd have covered, but in between the podcasts we've done, we've had the Copo, which is like what I like to call the knockout playoffs of the Champions League. One of them was Real Madrid versus Benfica, which Real Madrid eventually won. That doesn't tell the whole story, however, because there was an unfortunate racism incident at the first leg in Lisbon, where the Argentine striker Christian Prestiani, I believe his name is, from Benfica, seemingly used a racial slur multiple times against Vinicius Jr. to get under his skin. Vinicius then informed the referee. We had the whole racism protocol, which is the first time I've seen it happen in UEFA, and I think it's the first time it's been enacted at this level, which is interesting. But my card for this thing is not Prestiani himself nor Benfica, but it's actually Jose Mourinho who I have as my card.
Yeah.
And Jose for me is always going to be an evergreen card because I don't like the man, never did. I don't believe he has ever been a good football manager. I think he is just a good wind up, and I think that's just ultimately has been always his skill as a human being.
Aaron's looking at you like you fucking lost the plot.
Now, here's the thing, right?
I'm going to agree with you with him being your cod.
Yeah,
he's not a good football manager considering what he's done with
Inter
Milan and
Chelsea.
Porto and Chelsea. And
well, again, it's that's what I think. So when I say he's a football manager, I don't like on a tactical side. I don't think he does anything groundbreaking. I think what he just does, he's able to agitate and annoy his players up to a certain point that they will run through walls, or there's a kind of a cult of personality aspect.
So he's the Paul Heyman of football.
No, there's a different connotation.
No, because Paul Heyman was a fucking.
But when he was in ECW, he would wind his talent up to run through a wall for him.
Yeah, but he also wouldn't pay them. But he also wouldn't pay them and treat them like shit. So there's a bit of a difference there.
Well, again, it depends on that kind of argument on the wrestling style, how toxic you think Paul Heyman is. Unfortunately, I think Jose Mourinho is a very toxic human being, and he's carried that toxicity through his entire career. Like you said, it like yes, he had like immense success at Inter Milan, Real Madrid, and Chelsea. But bear in mind, look at the scorched earth he left behind at every one of those jobs.
Well, he didn't leave scorched earth behind at Milan job.
Milan was the one exception. I think that's because Milan at the time were still kind of had their act together. Like what happened afterwards was not Mourinho's fault. I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But what if I think that I think there's two Mourinhos we're talking about here as well. There's a Mourinho before Madrid and there's a Mourinho after Madrid.
Yeah, there's
Mourinho
Bobby
before
Robson,
Madrid, you can make
Mourinho
an
as
argument
well.
that like
Yeah.
his kind of like his way of management was so different to everyone else because like some people were kind of like proper football men and was like, oh, we must play the right way and all this sort of stuff. Whereas Jose
Yeah.
Mourinho was like, I will stab someone in the kidneys if it means I win the match. And that was seen as a kind
Yeah.
of a weird thing. And it's not. It's cyclical. Like you'll have managers like this all the time that will go through history and have that similar kind of attitude
Yeah,
and
you'll have
anything will win.
managers who will reshape football tactically.
Yes.
Mourinho did it for not for the worse or not really for the better, but definitely for entertainment. Guardiola did it for the absolute decimation of football and ruining it, and now every team feels they have to play it in their fucking box to score. The long shots have disappeared from football because of Pep Guardiola, and I hate the prick.
Actually,
I don't blame
actually,
Guardiola for that. I think that's just other teams being lazy and not finding their own identity.
I got a point. I actually got to point this out because we actually had a chat with my court mates about this recently. There's actually a resurgence of it, and no one's caught it. There has been more long shot goals this season in recent memory than there has been because people are finding. I think managers are just like, if you want to pick a fucking pop shot from 40 yards, then fucking go for it.
Yeah, that's actually the reason why Villa like had a resurgence. Was that they are statistically the long shot team, and now since then Newcastle have been the long shot team. And they've been
so that is thankfully changing back. But I just said I put.
No, that's a fair point. But so to bring this back to why I picked Mourinho as my cut in particular, like there is like Mourinho is now unfortunately at the sell parity stage of his career, where after Real Madrid, like I think something changed with Real Madrid, between Mourinho and Real Madrid at that time, and again it was the height of the Messi, Ronaldo, the La Liga, the El Clasico era, where every El Clasico was must-see viewing, but it wasn't to do with the football. If we're really being honest, it was to do with
it wasn't.
It was to do with the beef between Mourinho and Barcelona, and it was like every match was like a chapter in that, to the extent where ultimately Jose Mourinho poked the eye of a manager who would end up being severely unwell. And obviously the two are not connected. Like there wasn't a butterfly effect in that respect. But it just kind of show you the level of...
Who was that again?
Tito Villanova. He unfortunately passed away of leukemia a couple of years later. And again, it's that sort of thing where like that is the level of maturity you're dealing with a man who is in his fucking 50s at that point, 40s or 50s at that point, has won everything in European football. He's won his Champions Leagues, he's won his domestic leagues, he won with La Liga with Real Madrid that year. But whatever was wrong with him, whatever's wrong psychologically with Jose Mourinho, it just rub off on his team. And
I will say I watched a documentary. It was an ITV one from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I think, and it was how to win the European Cup. I don't know if that was the name of it, but that was how it was framed as.
Yeah.
So the first half was the Porto one, the second half was the Inter Milan one, and then they talked a little bit about his time with Madrid. And I think a lot of his time with Madrid really did boil down to he wanted the Barca job.
Yeah.
He felt like he was destined to take the Barca job, considering his past with Bobby Robson.
Of course,
considering his past there. And when they turned him down and they went with Pep instead, he felt it as an insult. So his entire time there was effectively fuck Barcelona, and I will spend my entire time here absolutely mentally destroying me, which in a sense he did, and he actually started that when he was at Inter Milan.
Yeah.
In reality, that absolutely fucking phenomenal year he won the Champions League, because he did really start it then. He really had no right to beat Barcelona over two legs, because they were the best team on planet Earth at the time, and he managed to pull it off.
Yeah.
And I think that might have drained him to a point, because then after that, the natural one that I think we all, at the time, everyone expected him to go to was Man United, and he didn't, because they went with Louis van Gaal at the time, and they went back to Chelsea. And by the time he went to United, I think he was done kind of mentally with the big clubs. And now that's why he went to the Roma afterwards. And now he's at Besiktas, because he can still make an impact there, but it's not Besiktas. What the
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce, and then Benfica. Yeah. I had B in my head. I went Besiktas.
Yeah, that's fair. Happens. Well, I see your point, though, in a sense. I think
he's tired. I think he's actually nearly done. I really wouldn't be. Yeah. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he takes over that Portuguese job in the next year or two.
I would say he would sooner go into a pundit role on television.
No, I think he's always said he wanted to do it. He had aspirations to manage Portugal at some point.
I don't think he'll get the job though. I don't think they'll take him on.
No, me neither. Because I think this situation has actually kind of like, again, let's like bring it back to what happened in that
Yeah,
Benfica game. Like the man has there's the self parody and then the self destructive. And I think what the
Yeah.
problem with Jose Mourinho is that we've always enjoyed the content around Jose Mourinho, about the meltdowns, the strops, the
Yeah.
nonsense
Fair.
around him. But what's happened is like he's essentially lived that life now up to a certain point, and that's almost become his brand now. And the nth degree of all of that is him collaring a player who has been a victim of of racial abuse from one of his own players, and essentially gaslighting him and saying he couldn't be racist because one of the club legends here is Eusebio.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Wasn't.
do you think Christian Prestiani gives a flying fuck about Eusebio if he's willing to say that to a current black player?
Yeah.
Like, there isn't a 12, like, footballers don't go on a 12, like, step correspondence course about the history of the club, and flashing lights, love Eusebio happens when you're in the Stadio de Luz. It doesn't work that way.
It's that old stupid like joke of I can't be racist. I have a color television type of thing.
Some of my
Like
best club legends are black. Like,
yeah, like that's a cop out to try and divert people away from the fact that
it,
you
it
are in fact Prestiani a racist.
well, this is what I'm talking about with Jose Mourinho. That
Argentinian.
this has
His name's
always been a
Prestiani.
tactic with him. Is that
Don't
he
ask what his great grandfather did in the war.
Now there's the X right there. But no, this is the thing with this is the thing with Jose Mourinho, is that has always been his mode of deflect,
Yeah.
of redirect, and to rebound to me. To, like, let me take all the heat for this person. It's like, it's different when you've had a player that's been sent off or a player that's missed a penalty in a final. That's good man management. That's a sign of like taking the heat off them. When your player's been a fucking racist, that's different. Because now what you've done is you've made yourself into a bigger arsehole by making yourself the story and saying stuff that, quite frankly, has irritated people enough so much that you've actually ensured that you're not going to get a high profile job again. It's not to do with the self-destructive part of like failing upwards in certain teams and certain clubs. That's one aspect of it. But why would any black player play for Jose Mourinho again?
Yeah.
After in fairness to me, I think there's a touch of the Jim Ratcliffe of it all, where he kind of realizes he's in a fucking cul-de-sac and he has to commit to it, because he says, I don't want to just take Bresciano's word for it, don't take Vinicius, I want to be impartial, all this sort of stuff. But then his comments to try and like calm Vinicius down is not what the intended purpose. That's
No, he'll be at Maccabi Tel Aviv in the summer. Guarantee you. He'll have a great time over there.
He's gonna be somewhere anyway. He's gonna be taking a big paycheck.
I actually think he only has one club job left for him, and I think he wants to take a club that Bobby Robson had.
Ipswich
to continue.
Probably Newcastle.
I genuinely believe he'll manage Newcastle in the next 2 or 3 years.
And
who are they run by? The Saudis, and yeah, he'll be fine there.
He'll have basically unlimited money, and it could be his last around the Premier League.
Because it goes to the point, like, why would anyone play for Jose Mourinho again?
Because in the whole scheme of his whole career, right, this is probably the one real blip against his own team. If it just been like, he's always defended anyone he's ever managed, and that's probably a good trait.
Definitely not true.
Well, I mean, in the sense of like, he'll back a player up if he likes them.
Well, he's thrown like club members, like staff members under the bus. Like Dr. Eden took him to courts. Like,
I remember that.
He's thrown people under the bus before. Like,
I mean, actual players. If he likes the player and he thinks he's good enough, he'll back him up. Granted, there's exceptions to that rule. Mkhitaryan being one of them.
Yes,
he was like, "Can you fuck off so I can get Alexis Sanchez?"
Yeah, and again, like that Tottenham documentary was a great eye opener on how much of an arsehole he actually was. Now, granted, Danny Rose,
he is an arsehole,
but like, it shows you how bad of a man manager he actually was.
I need to go watch that again. That was a fun few
hours. Again, look how obsessed about himself he was. It was all about him. It was his ego. It was like he wanted to know what people were saying about him all the time.
He thinks of himself as a brand. The problem is he thinks of himself.
But I think that's partly down to the fact that he would rather take all the heat in him when he manages a football club than he would rather give it to the fucking players. He was like, just lads, who gives a fuck if he said a racist comment? He probably, like, obviously this is probably not what he did, But in my own head, he's just like, I'm going to say something just as stupid, just to take the heat off him. And that's when he said the stupid comment.
And this is what I'm talking about in the sense, like, I can't imagine any other manager making that much of a faux pas, in the sense where, like, again, this is a situation where, like, very few managers have found themselves in, because you don't want to throw your own player under the bus. You need to sit on the fence because you need to have all the evidence at your disposal before you do say anything. But the stuff that you don't volunteer is what you say to that victim of racial abuse to try and calm him down, because it's not calming him down, it's agitating him more, because he knows the player's agitated as it is, and his mind is going, well, if I wind him up even more, he's either going to get himself sent off or the match is going to get cancelled. That's what's in his head, not the fact that there's been a racist abuse at my fucking match that I've been managing and I should do something about it. That's what's in his head. It's always been about sporting advantage at all costs. So that's what it is. So
a couple of minutes, so I do apologize.
It's fine. So we'll wrap it up anyway. So with that, then we have to decide what our CODs are. So I'll be honest with you, Aaron. Jim Ratcliffe was on my shit list for a few weeks as well, based on that. So I am happy to give a vote to Jim Ratcliffe on that one. What about yourself, Aaron? What are you going for? Drogheda or
the funny part of me wants to go with the Drogheda thing, because, lads, you're allowed. Calm down.
That goes back to loud. It's like
it's no, because it's not Istanbul. Alright? It's fucking loud. Get over yourselves. Right? But I am gonna stick with the Ratcliffe thing, just for the simple fact is you could have shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. You don't have Tourette's in the middle of the BAFTA awards. You're fine. You can critically think about the situation for a split second and go, probably won't say that. He can praise Farage. Fuck him if he wants to praise Farage, whatever. But saying that in the city that you come from and you manage, it's like, how dense are you? How fucking stupid are you? So
how out of touch are you, more specifically, as well? That's
yeah.
Well, we're gonna go for the hat trick here, because I am also gonna go with Sir Bigot, Jim Ratcliffe.
Big Sir Jim Ratcliffe, protector and defender of the Commonwealth.
Protector of the
Killer
colonies,
of the planets.
Overlord of the colonies, Big Sir Jim Ratcliffe Esquire. Yes,
big stick bastard, indeed. So,
surrender and all that.
Yes, exactly. What empire? What Commonwealth? So that's the end of our pod then for this week, lads. Thank you for joining in and tuning in, indeed. And also, thanks to Aaron and Dave for jumping onto this episode. We had an eclectic mix of topics to talk about for this one, and we'll see you in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see if our predictions come true, and maybe we'll have a clearer picture by then. Until then, good night, everybody.
Good night, Tottenham Bottlers.